Like you got to go buy all the Funko Pops,
Yes.
So
and everybody.
next week we're gonna have all of this is gonna be changed.
Yeah.
Every bit of it. We're bringing in one of those IKEA cubbies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with all the little things, and that's going to be in the background. And then, of course, every little comic book and everything will be stationed
There you go.
around.
Yeah.
Finally get your area cleaned up.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Well,
That's probably what I should do.
this used to be the dark room, so
It's kind of been a catch-all room over the years.
yeah, it's the backup storage. It's the everything room.
Yeah, that's what I do. I come down here to my wife's office and use an office because it's much quieter.
I'm seeing the wheels on the bus, okay?
Wheels on the bus. I was thinking about doing a podcast deal in the garage, but it's just too hot out there. So,
Yeah.
Where are you located?
Missouri.
Oh,
That's humid over there.
humid,
isn't it?
right?
Yeah, it's still humid. It's gonna be like 40 next week though, so it's all good.
Oh.
Wow, I'm jealous.
But you never know. You never know.
Is that Celsius? Because we had some Irish folks, and they say it's 40 degrees. I'm like, that's not bad.
I don't know.
That's not bad.
They're like, oh no, Celsius. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no. I looked it up. It's way hotter.
Can't figure that out. The different temperatures and the time zones mess me up if you can't tell.
Yeah, I could. Normal people.
Normal people time. Just tell me what time I need to be on there. My time. I don't care about your time.
Yeah. Nobody.
I don't live in California.
Yeah, I've been like so Saturday I'm scheduled with the Talking Shits crew.
Oh, nice.
And I keep going. So we're doing it at 1:30, right? He's like, yeah. Okay, but is that Central? He goes, yeah. I'm like,
Why is that one the hardest? You can't just automatically.
What time is
East
that?
Coast is easy, but anything else is not.
what time is that?
Yeah, I did that with. I was on Chris and Christine show there in San Diego.
Oh yeah.
And that was like the first podcast I was ever a guest on. And man, I was sweating. I Googled it like 20 times and even like did the converter because I was so nervous about this whole time zone thing, right? And I was just trying to make sure I was, I had it going on. And then the Irish guy, Awfully Irish, is that the guys you talked to?
Yeah,
you talked to some other. Okay, yeah, we've been trying to link up for me to go on their show, and it's just been it's not worked out very well.
No, because they're 8 hours ahead of California, and
yeah.
6 hours ahead of you,
right?
And so like when you want to schedule a time, like can you do it like 1 o'clock in the afternoon? Like, no, man, we're adults, dude. Like
I even told
him.
Oh,
yeah, I love those guys. I told him, I said, listen, I can even do it like early before work one day if you want. Like, because I get up pretty early anyway. And I said, we can do like 6 a.m. I'll have a Guinness for breakfast. I don't care.
Yeah.
You want to do that or whatever. And then they're like, how about 6 p.m. our time on Friday? And I said, that's 1 o'clock my time.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'll be working, man.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, how about a weekend? Okay. So I think we're going to do it this Sunday.
Oh, that's good.
1 o'clock my time.
Fingers crossed.
So,
they do Zoom as well. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
I like those guys. I love their show.
Yeah.
And,
they had a lot of fun, dude.
Yeah.
Have you joined their Discord yet?
No, not yet.
They have a virtual bar. And I asked them like, hey, what am I drinking? It has to be in the States. So, what do you guys want me to drink? Like, oh, we'll drink a Guinness. So I bought some Guinness. The first time I bought Guinness, I've never bought that. I usually drink like Blue Moon or something like that.
Right.
And so it was my first time drinking in over a year. And so I drank it. I was like, oh man, this thing's really smooth. And then the very next day I have a heart attack.
It sounds you're laughing, but it's not funny. Your humor sometimes is weird.
Man.
It wasn't the beer.
It wasn't the beer, but it's just
It's
a funny.
breakfast food, huh?
Like they felt bad. Like
They're like, oh, we almost killed the guy. Guinness is good though. It's good beer.
It's a really smooth beer.
Very smooth. It's pretty low alcohol content too, which people don't. You wouldn't think that because it's a
very dark beer. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's good. It's a good one. Much better on tap, I think.
Yeah, we don't have any bars open yet, so
There's some open here, but we haven't left the house since March 23rd.
Wow. That's pretty good.
So for us, we actually started the quarantine about a week before the state required it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we went, March
12th, my birthday.
12th, yeah.
It was literally my birthday.
Yeah, my wife's birthday, and we're like, we're going to go ahead and do the quarantine because we don't know everything going on. We don't want to take any chances.
Wait, there's a quarantine going on?
I know. Now we've been...
Yeah.
We've taken at least 3 quarantine vacations, and it's been strange because you literally can't do anything except stay in your hotel room and then get takeout. But
yeah, it's true.
Yeah, we did the zoo, but even that was different.
Very strange. We haven't been anywhere.
I didn't see a penguin, and I was promised penguins. I was also promised plushies, and I got those.
We also didn't see the panda either.
I mean, we have a panda right there.
Oh, gosh. Are we all set up here, babe?
I think we're all set up.
Cool.
We're just knocking out making sure all of our technicals, it looks like everything seems to be going good.
Sweet.
I have...
No food.
We're going to eat afterwards. Calm down.
Yeah, but I'm hungry.
So what got you into podcasting, man? I know I'm going to ask this again in the actual podcast, but what got you started in all this? I was listening to one of your statements about how like you listen to like Kevin Smith and
I love Kevin Smith.
What the Fuck by Mark Maron.
Mark Maron, yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
I used to listen to him all the time, and then he started quit smoking, stopped drinking, and I was like, and he got really dark, and I was like, I think I'm gonna hold back. I haven't listened to him in a few years.
Yeah, I think that I started listening to podcasts. Kevin Smith's Fat Man on Batman was the first one that I listened to, and this is back. I used to be a police officer some years back, and so a buddy of mine was like, "Hey, you ever listen to any podcast?" And I was like, "What the hell's a podcast?" So he's like, "Oh, people just sit and talk, you know." And he goes, "I listen to this one's Kevin Smith. It's pretty cool." And I said, "Oh, okay." And that's when I think now they do like other stuff, but then it was just they had like Kevin Conroy on there, Mark Hamill. They had like
like Nerdfest.
Yeah.
But it was like it was neat because it was like just a long form conversation with and a lot of the like Grant Morrison was on there, like a lot of the comic book writers and people like that. It was a pretty deep, like an in-depth kind of Batman talk. So that was kind of cool. And then that kind of led me into Mark Maron. Hardcore History is one of my favorites, actually.
Yeah, Dan Harmon.
Yeah, it's a really good one. And so just kind of have always listened to a bunch of different ones, and some of the other ones that like Joe Rogan, of course, but it really depends on who the guest is. Like I don't just listen to him all the time. If there's a guest on there that I like,
can understand that.
Yeah, I mean most of it's guest driven. I'm like, oh wow, that'd be cool. But yeah, and then I kind of started to get into it. Actually, coming up on a year. This Sunday will be a year for the podcast, and I just kept talking. Thank you. I kept talking about it. My wife's like, Jesus Christ, just do it already. So I was like, okay.
That sounds familiar.
See, that's what wives do. See, I think wives.
They encourage us to move forward in our lives.
Yeah. When you're too low.
With a slight push.
Yeah. When you're too low, the wife will pick you up. When you're too high, she'll knock you back down. That's what I think.
Oh, that's good.
That's a good one.
So,
I like that.
But anyway, yeah. So I said, okay.
I'm always too high.
But see, I thought there was some kind of. I thought there was like a high barrier to entry, and I'm like, well, I could just record something and just have a podcast. Okay. Yeah. So I got this microphone at least because I'm like, well, even if nobody wants to really hear what I got to say, maybe it'll sound good. The audio quality itself will sound good.
Yeah.
And so I did the first one with my buddy Ben, where we actually sat around and played guitar in the first episode.
Yeah, I was listening to that episode. Well, I didn't listen to that episode, but I listened to your recap of that episode.
Yeah.
And that's awesome, dude. Like, one of your things was talking about how like somebody said to go back to your first episode and re-listen to it and see how much it's changed.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you still
terrifying.
yeah, I would not want to do that. I can tell you right now, I don't want to do that. But the fact that somebody gave that advice and you listened to your previous episode and you're like, man, that actually was a lot of fun. That's cool. You know?
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, my first episode was like 15 minutes long, and it literally was me saying, I don't know what I'm doing.
And I refuse to listen to any of them. Like, I won't go back and listen to anything.
Yeah.
Once it's done, it's done for me.
I did like the little prologue, kind of like a 15-minute thing was the first thing I recorded.
Yeah.
And just to kind of talk. Really, I was testing the microphone out too, but I was just kind of talking. And then he and I did that episode together. But that's what we normally do when me and him hang out, is that we have a drink and play. Because I have 5 guitars, and I know you have guitars.
No, I don't. They're all fake.
So I put that's a green screen back there.
Yeah, that's a green screen. I heard you play guitar, so I figured I'd throw some in the back.
There you go.
Throw some green lights on them. Yeah.
So I play guitar and drums, and he's got guitars and bass, and he's got bass guitars, a bunch of pedals and gear and all kinds of junk. So
yeah,
he's single, so he can afford all that stuff. So I go over to his house, and we would just we just have some drinks and jam. And I said, hey, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. Would you want to just hang out? He goes, yeah. So I just set the microphone on the table, and we just play guitar and
that's a Yeti, right?
Yes, Blue Yeti. Yeah. Because actually, this Saturday is my birthday. So my birthday was the day before the podcast started, and he bought me a bottle of Bullet Bourbon for my birthday. So we drank that on the first episode.
Right on.
And played guitar. Yeah,
that's a way to do it, though. Like, if you go in there without having anything to like really hold you back, and you can just kind of relax, and you're not stressing on the thought process. Because it used to be, before every episode, I'd probably come into the office and like start writing out like, oh, I'm going to do this, and this. Now I'm like, all right, we overthink it. We just need to have a conversation. Just need to chillax. And then if people like what we're talking about, they'll listen. If they don't like what we're talking about, okay, I'm not, like, I'm talking to myself. That's cool. I'm okay with that.
We were sticking to the bullet point list, so a little too hard.
Yeah, it was like, and today in the great western states of Mississippi.
I've learned that, in the first year, I've learned what I like to do and what I don't like to do.
Yeah,
I can tell you that. That's for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot to still. There's a growing period, and you're gonna find out different audio things. Like, I will tell everybody to not listen to the first like 12, 18 episodes of ours. Mm-hmm. We're only at 19, so don't listen to a previous episode. Start from today. Fat, Drunk, and Stupid on.
Yeah, no, for me, I do it for a purely selfish reason. I do it because I enjoy it. I like it, and
that's the best way, though.
Because I've never wanted to be like, I never wanted to feel pressured. Like, man, I've got to go do a podcast episode. Man, like there's been weeks where I just don't feel like it, and I just don't do it.
See that's cool. We have a schedule that we put on Twitch, and we're like, okay, we're going to at least be live every Thursday night at 7.
Yeah.
No matter what, the first 30 minutes is just kind of like chillax, really, really like laid back, and then we'll go play the cue, start the music, and then get into it, and do the whole introduction, this and that. Yeah,
I think with year 2, I took off the last week and this week, because I'm here with you this week, so this counts for my episode this week.
Okay. You want the audio on this?
No, it's okay. It doesn't matter.
Whatever. No, I'll send it to you, man. I throw it in Google Doc and send it. You want MP3 or Wave?
Yeah. MP3 probably.
Okay.
But and then I'm gonna be on 2 different other podcasts next week. Actually 3.
Yeah.
Then another one, a 4th one. Yeah. So I like guesting on other podcasts too. But yeah, my thing is I'm gonna start recording on Monday nights.
Okay.
And then release on Tuesdays, and I'm gonna do a video component. Where
are you gonna do like a Twitch or?
Yeah. So I have a Twitch channel. I have a YouTube channel.
I just followed you on Twitch.
Oh,
Also,
yeah,
I got to thank Jimmy Stagger. He just followed us today.
That's the Friday Night Music Party guy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Sweet.
I'm pretty sure that's him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's cool. He's very supportive. He's a good guy.
Thank you for the follow.
But yeah, so that's some of the stuff you're talking about, things changing. So I was like,
he says it is.
See, I knew it. So kind of start doing a video component. So then like upload the audio on all the podcast stuff, and then put the video on YouTube, and then also do some live shows too.
What's really cool about Twitch is it has an automatic component where if you have it linked to your YouTube channel, it can automatically load to your YouTube channel. Yeah. So when you get like a little bit more fancier and you figure out how to make your logo pop up and all that stuff, get yourself one of these bad boys. It's called a Stream Deck.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it is a lifesaver.
Yeah, I'm good friends with the guys on Basement Surge. I don't know if you ever seen them. But,
I have, yeah.
John has like this super sweet setup, and he's got I think he's got that very thing, I think, but he uses a StreamYard, and so
yeah. How is that? We had another guest last week, and they were talking about using StreamYard as well.
Yeah, it's pretty nice because you can do the ticker at the bottom, you can do the graphic overlays, you can put like 6 people up on the screen, and because they do a live show every Tuesday night, and I think they do like 2 other shows a week or something. Like they did a live. He was on live all day for the DC Fandom. I was on there for that.
Oh, that's cool.
I had my Batman robe on and the whole deal. It was cool. I talked to his kid, told him to eat his vitamins, and listen to his parents.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Big deal.
I'm a Flintstones kid.
Yeah, but I've been kind of researching that kind of stuff, just to kind of add a little different element, maybe.
Yeah.
Just to kind of mess with it, because I'm also trying not to spend a ton of money, because I don't.
It gets expensive fast.
I don't try to get money. I don't try to get any money in return, So I try to keep the cost to a minimum if I can.
I get that, dude. It gets costly quick.
Yeah, I think the main thing I'm going to do is switch to Buzzsprout for my platform.
Why?
I think because they offer a lot of value. They do like magic mastering. They do a couple different things, because I'm on Anchor right now.
Yeah,
which is free.
Ooh, bad dogs.
I used Anchor. I switched over to Acast, and Acast I thought was like, okay, I want to use Acast. It's going to help me get on the different platforms. Anchor is probably the best way to stick with, at least unless you're dealing with, because they have unlimited downloads. Buzzsprout, you have that 1,000 download a month, or you could buy your plans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You don't have that with Anchor. You don't have any of that with you can. I mean, the other cool thing about, like, if you switch to other services, you can have multiple shows. But if you're not doing multiple shows, there's not a need for it.
Yeah.
I regret going to Acast.
Really?
I regret switching from Anchor, but I know how difficult it is to move back,
Oh.
So,
there's no integration support.
It's a difficult thing to switch back. It's super easy to take from Anchor, but not so much. And because Spotify is already integrated with Anchor, because Spotify owns Anchor, it's you're already on mass platforms. Plus, you're what are you on, like 7 different platforms right now currently? You don't have that with Acast.
Yeah, you
kind of lose like your Radiotopia, you lose your or your Radio Public and all that stuff. So
yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's something I haven't done anything yet. It's just I've been looking at all this different stuff, and I definitely want to use Zoom, probably. Mainly.
You can do all of that, and like I use OBS. OBS does all my recording for when we're doing like this. Plus, I'm live on Twitch. And for the most part, as long as my recording and everything's operational, I'm basically upstreaming the audio bit into like I do the VCL or VLC, download it, and then it goes and converts it over to MP3, and it's done.
Yeah. I was looking at OBS as well because, and I actually downloaded it like 2 weeks ago, and I was messing with it because I was thinking about like StreamYard. The free plan, you can stream, but it doesn't record any of it. So I was like, well,
which OBS did you download?
I don't know.
So there's like 4 different OBSs. There's OBS, there's Streamlabs OBS, there's Stream Elements OBS, and then there's like I can't remember. It's like Lightbox OBS. Stream Elements OBS is the one we use, and the reason we use it is because it doesn't require any actual hardware usage. It's done by software usage.
Oh, okay.
I really appreciate you saying we, because I had exactly 100% effort put in there.
Yep.
That was all.
Without her consent, I would have never done any of this.
I don't touch anything.
Yeah.
So
I use OBS with Stream Elements. It's OBS Live, and it does everything as long as you have a good connection. It's doing all of it. It has free overlays. So I can also do, if you minimize your screen, and you open up the twitch.tv/Roosterbat, you're going to see right now that we have an overlay with both of us on there, and it has my socials popping up, it has when I'm live, and it has both of our tags on there.
Are the tags clickable?
These tags are not, but in the chat it is.
Oh, okay, cool.
I see that. I'm looking at it on my phone.
Yeah.
Look at us. Look how good we look.
We look pretty good, yeah.
Look at us.
I kind of wish I might have. Well, you know what? This kind of works. You could be the forward hat guy, and I'll be the backward hat guy.
But like, that's how I know you're serious, and it's time to get down to work because your hat goes backwards.
Yeah,
that's right. You're like Stallone and over the top.
Yeah. Well, you got to keep the sun off the back of the neck because you're gonna start working.
That is also true.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like that because see, all that stuff you just described, that's what StreamYard offers for, but you have to pay for it though.
Yeah. No. So
like
this is all in Stream Elements is 100% free. Plus, you have a merch store built into it. So, like, if I wanted to sell merch and stuff like that, which I do have a merch store connected to the Stream Elements, I don't have to worry about any of the ordering or any of that stuff. It's kind of like TeePublic. They do all of the printing, all that stuff, all the, all I have to do is go, okay, give me my money.
Nice. I like that.
I like that. Although I don't have stickers, I'm like, I need to get some stickers.
I've had people ask me for stickers. I never have.
I like your logo.
Thank you.
My logo is not nearly as cool. It's a circle. So my idea was I wanted to go with like a 50s like patch, like the old 50s like rockabilly type patch you put on your vest or something like that, like a bomber vest. And that was what I wanted to do. And then you kind of like, okay, that's pretty generic. I like it. You can make it whatever you want to be. But some people got really creative. Have you seen his logo, Jess?
I have not. Where can I spot it?
Okay, go to let me pull it up.
On the Twitter machine.
On the Twitter machine, exactly. Let me share screen.
Oh yeah, it's like a neon sign.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah. And it'd be really cool, like in the background.
That makes sense too, because it has like a pub feel. And
see, that's kind of what that's what I'm thinking about doing too. I've been looking at is doing like a green screen and putting my logo behind me, right?
Yeah.
That way it looks legitimate, but it looks cool,
Well, blown glass is very expensive. We looked at it like doing a blown glass like circle with RBS in it. And I think it was like $400
for very, very basic.
It's like this. It's like nah, not happening.
The cool thing about that logo is when I first started on, I guess it was on Anchor, it was just a stock photo of a beer mug. And I just typed like fat, drunk, and stupid just in text, like, and like Times New Roman, like just across the mug. And then this guy locally that my wife knows does like graphic design and stuff.
Oh, really?
And he had done some stuff for her business and some other businesses. So she literally emails him and says, "Hey, my husband has a podcast and he wants a logo and it's called Fat, Drunk, and Stupid." And 2 days later, he sent that and said, "What do you think about this?"
Yeah,
that's awesome.
You're like, yeah, winner. No, absolutely.
Perfect.
I will take that all day.
He's also on Twitter at Rain13 at WRAINE13.
Okay, will you send that to me?
Yeah,
through the message.
Yeah, he's a local guy. He does really good. It's great, man. I mean, yeah, I didn't have any input whatsoever. Like I didn't tell him anything.
Yeah,
and he matched you up perfect.
And I was like, "That's it. That does." And that really changed a lot of things. So I put that on Twitter. And it just kind of pops off the screen, I think, a little bit. Like it's nice, like it's very noticeable, which I like it. But it wasn't too goofy looking, because anything I made would probably look terrible, because I'm not any kind of artist whatsoever.
I made a circle, and then I had my wife go, "Hey, this circle looks oval. Can you fix it?" And she goes,
Where did the Roosterbat come from?
Okay, so just a real quick story. I used to ride with Motorcycle Club. My road name was Bantam, which is a type of rooster. It's a fighting rooster, or it's a lightweight rooster. And I'm a Batman fanatic. So if you rewrite Bantam, it has the same exact letters as Batman.
Oh, there we go. See?
All right. So
sweet.
Bantam is a rooster. Batman is my alter ego that I wanted it to be.
Spirit animal.
My spirit animal, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, when I left the club, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna rock Bantam. That's not gonna happen. So what is my thing? For the last 5 years I've been Bantam, so I'm just gonna stick with that and see what comes along, and boom, Roosterbat.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that. It's cool though. It's unique. I first saw that because I was like, Roosterbat, what does that even mean?
Like a double rainbow.
It's something that stays up 24 hours. It's nocturnal and it stays up during the day.
It's tiny and it's fighty.
It's tiny, it's fighty.
Nice.
And it has no premise of time.
Time
is an illusion.
Time is an illusion.
I like it. I realized the importance of a podcast name once I got on Twitter, because a lot of people were like, "Man, I love the name of your show. I'm just going to follow you." And I was
where's the 7 come from?
When I was a kid, I was a big John Elway fan.
Oh, okay.
So I've always liked the number 7 for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why. So when I think I did what did I do first? The email, maybe? I know what it was. I made a Gmail account first, and I tried to do FDS podcast, and someone already had that for some stupid reason.
Oh, what a lame!
I hate that.
I'm gonna look him up.
I think they did. Yeah, I think that's what happened. And then, so I just picked a 7, or maybe it was some. I can't remember. It was whatever I wanted it to be. At first, it wasn't there on Gmail. So when I got on Twitter, I made my Twitter handle the same thing as the email address, just for simplicity, for continuity's sake.
Yeah.
My username on everything is the exact same thing.
Mine is also.
They don't even have episodes.
This is the same for you though. The Roosterbat. There's like a Roosterbat TV.
Okay, so there wasn't Roosterbat TV. There was a Roosterbat, and I wanted to have Roosterbat.com, but there's Roosterbat Studios.
Oh, Studios. That's right.
And I was like, so they bought Roosterbat.com, so we couldn't use it. They don't even have a website. They just own it. And we're like, okay, what can we do? So we were like, all right, Roosterbat Show. This is our show. We're going to call it the Roosterbat Show. And so RBS, we're like, okay, condense it. RBS, this is, it's now the Roosterbat Show. And it has the exact same initials as Roosterbat Studios.
Oopsie.
Yeah. Well,
they're alternative band recording studio where they record punk, grunge, and other type of really hard rock.
Right on.
And like their Roosterbat character is a demonic rooster with bat wings. So classy.
Kind of like the Chupacabra.
Yeah, Chupacabra. It's the
Roosterbat would also be a pretty sick band name too, I think.
I think so. I agree.
That would be nice.
But
that'd be
I don't.
That could be our band.
Yeah.
He's really good at the kazoo.
Yeah. If you want like the best kazoo player in the world, I'm not that person.
Yeah.
Me.
But I'm definitely in the top 50 from the bottom.
There you go.
From the bottom.
Never played kazoo before.
It's okay.
It's not that
I bet I could pick it up. I can pick up any instrument and just say I play it.
I do have a harmonica, and I was like, honey, look, I found my harmonica. I can play. And then, literally 5 minutes later, she's like, please stop.
Aww.
I like the harmonica. Like I'm a big blues listener. I love
me too.
I like blues, man, and
jazz.
Anything with just a little classic, like good sound.
Yeah,
I'm not a big like super guitar player or anything like that, but like if you could throw a little twang in there, I'm down. I'll listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just listen to emo bands.
Yeah, you do.
What is an emo band?
Oh, it's
like,
it's
like dudes with like eyeliner on.
No,
yes.
it's about birds.
No,
not emu.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Emu.
It's the emu band.
the emu stuff slaps, man.
Yeah.
No, the emo stuff's like the dudes with like the spiky hair guys.
They typically have spiky hair or
what is it? My Chemical Romance.
Yeah,
That's
there's
My Chemical Romance.
There's My Chemical Romance, Panic at the Disco. I think Fall Out Boys, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I know.
Fall Out Boy doesn't count. Those guys are like 60 now. I don't think
Are they
emotional
really?
hardcore, according to Jimmy Steger. Emotional hardcore.
He would know. He's an expert. He would know.
I guess that would make sense because they kind of scream a lot.
Oh yeah.
I can never tell, man. There's so many like subgenres of genres.
There's also he says screamo. I guess that's
Screamo.
another genre.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Is that part of the
screamo.
emo?
I don't know.
The emus.
It's like, I think they just scream
that's-
for 3 minutes straight.
Yeah, my throat hurts thinking about it.
I don't have
There's no-
enough water for that.
There's no indiscernible lyrics. It's just screaming.
That didn't even sound fun. So what we're gonna do? We have a little 2 minutes before we get started. So if you need to use the restroom or anything like that, I'm not making this up. Haha, that's what it was originally called. Is screamo.
Screamo, yeah, I remember that.
Into,
I remember
the
hearing about
emotional side of
screamo,
it.
but
My throat would hurt.
Screamo kind of reminds me of like when System of the Down, the guy with the like really straight black hair when he screams instead of sings.
True.
So we have about a minute before the actual show starts. So what was going to happen is I'm going to do a little countdown as it hits 7:30. I'll count from 5 to, and then I'll just have like 3 seconds of dead silence. You may not hear the audio. You may hear the audio. I don't know what happens. Sometimes Zoom doesn't like you listening to what I listen to.
Right.
So if you don't hear the audio, you're going to hear me then follow up the audio with, "Hey, freaks and geeks," and then we're going to go into our show.
Watch me flinch when the sound
so
plays.
you have the Google Doc still? You have it's nothing like it's nothing crazy or anything like that, but
No, I'm good.
Do you need anything?
You need it. Yeah, you need to use restroom.
I need a drink. I need a drink.
I have water.
Okay, I'm muting you, Ebs.
Mute both of us so that I don't hit the mic.
Go.
Thank you.
You like that? That's cool.
I do enjoy it.
Nice. I like that.
They can move the microphones now. All right. So I'm going to get started. You gonna get water?
I'm gonna get water, and then I can get you something to snack on as long as it's not crunchy or. Honey bun? Okay. No smacking.
Water,
You need water as well.
please. Yeah. Okay. And 5, 4, 3.
Roosterbat is where it's at. Oh, he's all that, and that's a fact, you know it. He's the king of the podcasting thing.
Hello, freaks and geeks. This is David Cadena, and today on the show we have the one, the only Rob from Fat, Drunk, and Stupid, the wonderful podcast about nothing very similar to ours, except for way more better. Hey, Rob, how you doing today?
Pretty good, man. How's it going?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. So, we're just getting into it. We're talking about a lot of different things. We like to start our show every week with, how our week's been going, what's good in our week. So you want to go ahead and get us kicked off?
Sure. This week is good because I'm off work tomorrow, number one. Number two, Saturday's my birthday. 3, Sunday is the birthday of the podcast, Fat, Drunk, and Stupid. And then Monday I'm off work again because it's Labor Day. So it's like, that's the highlight of this week so far, because the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday has just been me working all day. So it's been pretty good. So yeah,
well,
I'm looking forward to it.
Happy early birthday.
Thank you.
And happy anniversary to your podcast. That's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
For us, we just got back from the zoo. We went down to San Diego, and we did 2 days over in the San Diego Zoo, and we probably walked maybe 30 miles because it's awful.
Yeah.
And the second day we decided to rent some buggies, some motorized buggies, and take those, and a lot of fun, man. We had some really cool people that were like totally against my kids having buggies and said that we're raising lazy children. Other than that, we had a great time. I haven't worked at all this week, so.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
You just have to have fun, make fun of everything, and everything will work its way out, right?
Oh, you do, especially during the COVID times. I mean, you gotta do, like I said, we have a 3-year-old, so we try to do the best we can. Her birthday was a couple weeks ago, so we did like just a pizza with my wife's parents, and my wife made a unicorn cake. This thing was gigantic. It looked like the Sphinx, and it had and it had like the horn and everything. Like, she worked really hard on this thing, right?
Yeah,
it looked really good, and so she put it on the table, and our daughter was like, unicorn. And then we go to cut it, and she starts freaking out because so we had to turn it so she could like pet the head, and then we were just cutting off the back end.
That's
keep her distracted with the head.
Man,
man, it was weird. Yeah, we didn't know she would react that way, but obviously
you can't kill the unicorn, man. Like, they're sacred.
She was like, no.
Oh, that's too funny, man.
What are we gonna do? So probably should have made a prop cake, like a play cake, and then eaten cake, I guess. But yeah, that was fun. But yeah, we haven't really been anywhere. Usually we go camping. We have a camper trailer, so usually we'll go camping and stuff. But we haven't really done that either because of obviously the COVID stuff. So we just kind of been hanging at home.
Yeah. For us, we've been on that quarantine, don't do anything, and we needed that break. We needed that little vacation time, because sometimes that sanity, you got to take care of that too.
Oh yeah, you do. I mean, it's like,
we're not going and taking off our mask. We wore a mask the whole time. We made sure we maintained the 6-foot distancing and all that stuff. Unlike our senator,
true. Unlike most of them, yeah.
Well, I don't know if you ready for mics.
No.
Okay. Our senator just got busted going to a salon, not wearing a mask or anything like that.
Oh, Pelosi.
Yeah.
At San Francisco thing. Oh, yeah, I saw that. So, I don't know. The people here were, they did a mask ordinance and people were protesting it, for whatever reason. But we just decided to stay at home. Like, we don't really need to go anywhere. And so we just didn't really want to risk it,
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, why put yourself or anybody else at risk, especially when you got a little baby at home,
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been nice though. But like you said, we did get an above ground pool back in June because
Nice.
we weren't going to be going anywhere, and I'm like, well, we were thinking, well, really, she really needs something to do.
Yeah, activities.
Yeah. So we got that, and it was hard to find one. Actually, they were selling out all over the place. So we found one.
We found that like almost every little like treadmill's gone, bikes gone, everything.
Art.
Yeah.
Everything. Like I knit. I couldn't knit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
could. I have
flour.
enough stash.
People were baking. Video game consoles are hard to find. At
Yeah.
least they were. I know they still are because people were looking for them, and yeah, it was crazy. But the above ground pool was a lifesaver. I mean, just to take her out there and let her just swim and splash around and tire herself out. I think that was the biggest thing. But we've also enjoyed it too. I mean, that's part of the plan is Saturday we're taking her over to the grandparents, and then we're going to go back home and get in the pool and just hang out, just my wife and I. So that'll be nice.
Heck yeah.
Like a little stay at home date night.
Mm-hmm.
Those are awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, we did that a couple weekends ago was our first date anniversary. So the kiddo went over to the grandparents and we picked up some food, and my wife bought a bunch of wine from Sam's Club and they delivered it.
Oh, really?
Right on.
Yeah, through Instacart. There's this thing that you get your groceries delivered.
Yeah, it's kind of like that Postmates or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
They
Similar to
shop
that.
at Costco for you.
Yep. So we actually ate, and we had a wine tasting, and we played Rock Band. Her and I.
That's so good.
That's what we did, and then we slept in the next day, and so yeah. I mean, you gotta do stuff like that.
You have to, because it's rough staying home all the time, even for introverts like me. But we've been doing something similar. We'll have lunch dates because our littles are not so little. They're teenagers, so they enjoy alone time sometimes.
Teenagers also like to sleep in.
They also like to ignore their parents completely.
Yes.
Sometimes it's like they're not even here. But we'll do lunch dates and eat in our car. That's been fun.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to kind of figure it out as you go, I guess.
Jess, do you have anything cool that you want to talk about this week?
Like good news for this week?
Yep.
We installed our gas line. That was pretty cool. That was good.
we have
an
outdoor barbecue.
Ooh.
And we had a trench. You have to trench 24 inches down, and then we had to drag it out because our gas line, we're getting new cement put in. And so we had to put a permanent gas line underground.
Because we use natural gas on the grill.
Okay.
And it was a lot of fun. We only had to go to Home Depot 4 times.
That's the worst part of DIY projects is the runs to Home Depot.
Yeah.
Oh man,
like,
anything like that is multiple trips.
Yeah. You're like, what did I forget this time?
Each trip makes you more mad. And then
does.
Between some of those trips, you also like, well, since we're out, might as well go get some tamales.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yep. I did that. I replaced the toilet and I fixed the washing machine. I felt like a real hero because the washer. Here's what happened.
You fix the washer. End of story. You're a hero.
Yeah.
Well, it was my fault that it messed up because a rogue pull-up diaper ended up in the laundry, and I washed.
We have all been there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So because she wears them at night, still. So yeah. So I opened up the door, and I was like, oh.
Did it have like those little bead things that puff up real big?
Yes,
they're so bad.
Those are awful.
So we have this like front loader machine. So my wife Googled it, and she's like, oh, it's this little thing under there. You just
the very bottom.
Well, the problem is you had to take the back off, but the thing was on the front of the washer. So I had my arm. I'm not a small guy, so I was like, I had my arm under the drum, like trying to fish this thing out, So I finally get it fixed, and I was, and I'm like covered in like water and everything, and I'm like, yes, I did it,
Success.
Oh, success,
That thing pours out too. Like it's not just a little water in there. You've got to have a bucket ready.
I know.
Ours is terrible.
So,
do you have yours elevated? Like, is it on a box? It's on the ground?
No. Ours is on the ground too.
Ours is on the ground. That makes it way worse.
I don't think I'll ever buy another front loader.
No.
Those things are huge too, because
they are.
I mean, the problem is most houses where the wash and dryers go, it's not deep enough for these front loading washing machines.
No, not
like
at all.
ours sticks out like quite a bit, so it's just one of those deals. But yeah, I feel like a hero for doing that.
Well, I mean,
my work indeed for the COVID time.
it seems like COVID has helped me create more home improvement things that I didn't know I had.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We had so
There's
much
paint on
in
the
our
window.
garage that we're planning to do over like the last 8 years that just sat in the garage, and we completed those.
Yeah.
So then we came up with new ones.
Mm-hmm.
We painted the whole house.
Yeah, there's paint on the window.
Yeah, I painted the window. We don't even talk about that part.
Yeah.
I was the first one to notice.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you guys didn't notice when I screamed "oh shit." So
That was our next. That was our plan for this summer, was a garage sale, but we now are leaning towards more loading it up and taking it to like DAV or something and just dropping it off.
Oh yeah.
we hired a hauler. We're like, come pick up our crap.
Yeah, the main thing we have, of course, is stuff that our daughter's grown out of and old toys and stuff. That takes it the most, because kids don't stay in anything very long, so.
Which is odd. Like no matter how we like, you don't
about
feed them and they still grow, and it's like stop.
I think even like in March to now, I mean, she's like 2 shoe sizes bigger.
Oh man,
crazy.
So. They will sprout and then they'll stop for a second and then just continue sprouting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Books don't work. Heavy books do not work.
Yeah, you could give them a pack of smokes. Nothing. They're just.
It's crazy. It's crazy because we were looking at pictures from like February.
Yeah,
and she looks so much younger than she does now, like so much smaller. I guess it's weird, but yeah,
it's true.
It's crazy, but she's at that age now where she's just her own person already.
Okay, I feel like we just went entirely off topic. We asked Mom what her favorite thing about the week was, and then we started talking about home improvement.
It happened.
Because that's when you complete something, there's like this
sense of adventure, of completion.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And now it's my turn to talk about.
Okay, what do you have good to talk about this week?
I got you stuffed animals.
You sure did.
Okay.
Mine's very easy.
Yeah, I like it. That makes sense. So going back to home improvement, so Rob, my son and I, we were having this conversation this week. It was about if you could bring one military weapon. Now I know you're a vet. If you could bring one military weapon back in time, all right, and it has the full ammo, it has unlimited ammo, has unlimited everything, but you're bringing this back in time
from the past or to the past.
No, yeah, you're bringing it. You're bringing whatever current weapon.
Okay, to the past.
What weapon would it be? And then what era would you bring it to?
I would probably say the M4, definitely.
That's my favorite.
And I'll tell you why. Okay. Because when I was in the Army, I had the privilege, and it is a privilege to fire and shoot like all kinds of different guns, right?
Yeah.
The M4 is such a game changer because it's incredibly accurate. It fires one round at a time, which a lot of weapons don't.
Yeah.
And that was a big game changer. But
somebody's bird is loud. Sorry
is that a bird?
That.
Yeah. Man, we have a ringneck parrot.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
He probably likes M4s too.
Yeah,
but,
that's probably his favorite weapon.
But it's such it's such an all around great weapon. It's accurate.
Yeah.
And you can, if you know what you're doing with it and you're trained with it and you can fire it properly, I mean, you really have an advantage over most any era, in my opinion.
I agree. That's my favorite too. So,
but I'm also very partial to the 240 Bravo because I was a 240.
I was a 240 Bravo as well.
I was a 240 Bravo gunner, and so
actually, no, I was the AG. I was in security forces for Air Force.
Okay.
So nice. Yeah, chair force, whatever. See, that's why my chair is right here for chair force.
Yeah, I was a 240 gunner. In my first tour in Iraq, I was a 240 gunner, and I think that's the best job in the Army, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but
the 240 is an amazing weapon. A lot of people don't really understand how the saw and everything works, but that thing is phenomenal. Somebody in the chat just said a gal 8/A Avenger, and he would take it to the Revolution. So which era would you take your M4?
I think if you took it M4 to any era, I mean, if you took it to the Civil War era or the Revolutionary War era, I mean, you would have an upper hand on everybody because you could fire, accurately at longer range.
Yeah.
They might come after you for witchcraft still, though.
Yeah. No, you still get that witchcraft.
and not have to, reload every time after every shot. That's a big deal,
well, remember, this is an unlimited, so it's already a magical weapon. It's unlimited ammo. So it's movie rules on ammo.
You could, yeah. I mean,
so, Jimmy just said A10, which is what we both agreed. A10 Warthog, bringing that under George Washington's rule, you end the war.
Yeah, I love A10 Warthogs when I've seen those in action.
Yeah, and
the sound they make when they rip that gun, man. Yeah. Oh, it is unreal.
Yeah,
it's a fantastic piece of machinery. Love it
very much. So that plane is so fast, and the ability that it has to turn on a dime is unreal. The pilots that do that, like when the first A10 came out, they were saying that it was so clunky, like they couldn't turn it and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Whatever adjustments they made on that thing is completely crazy. Like they made that thing turn. Yeah, it's outstanding.
And that's why it's still around. I mean, that's the thing. They've talked about replacing it and phasing it out, and the pilots just are like, no, we don't want to lose this plane. It's so good.
The chat says,
yes, yep, that is the sound, and
it does. You hear that, and then it's like
gone.
Gone, done.
A10 Warthogs are probably like the one thing in the Air Force that everybody's like, oh, you're A10. Oh no, you're cool, dude. That and PJs. PJs are probably the second thing in the Air Force that everybody's okay with.
Yeah,
everything else is just Army related.
Yeah, when we used the A10s, did close air support for us multiple times in Iraq. Actually, those are sweet. And then of course in the Army, the Apaches are really good. Mm-hmm. Apache and the Kiowas. They have Kiowa Warriors and Kiowa Scouts. Those things are really nice. They were small, very maneuverable helicopters. Pretty neat. Yeah. I flew in Blackhawks quite a bit and flew in Chinooks quite a bit too.
What were the things we saw this weekend?
Like a bus.
We I can't remember. We saw this.
It's a thing that's like helicopter and plane.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember what it's called.
That was pretty cool.
Was it that Navy thing, the Osprey?
Yeah.
That's
one. Osprey.
Yeah. It does a vertical takeoff. Yeah.
Yeah. It's their version of the Harrier replacement, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. But it's vertical because they can land it on a ship if they need to, and then they take it. Yeah. Because
the Harrier, if I remember correctly, they phased out the Harrier because of the difficulty to fly it. Most pilots couldn't. Most pilots didn't have the capability or the understanding of how to do that compared to F-16 or something of that nature. Mm-hmm. The V-22, I guess that's the technical name. So Jimmy Stagger in the chat is like really knocking us into some history, man.
Jimmy's the man.
Yeah, he's got his facts. He's like, facts.
He's got a great show, by the way. Friday Night Music Party. It's an internet radio show he does.
Oh, right on. Our kiddos, or one of our kiddos, is really into history and like machinery history.
Yeah.
I'm into like just medieval history and like just random history.
Yeah.
Can you imagine like King Arthur with a A10? Oh
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could change a lot of things with those kinds of things.
Yeah. I mean, just imagine like Alexander Hamilton. We've been talking about a lot about. We've been watching that. I don't know if you've seen that show with Disney. Yeah, the Hamilton.
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay, so we've been talking about this duel. The duel with Aaron Burke and Hamilton, and imagine like if Hamilton had like just a Kevlar vest that is used today.
Yeah.
That musket would never even penetrate. Nothing. Like it wouldn't even got close, and it would have been like a T-shirt on him. Compared to all the other stuff he was wearing.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
it was a big, it's like World War One when Germany was marching to Belgium.
Mm-hmm.
Belgium still had like, forts and cannons, and they're on horseback.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And here comes Germany, with their guns and their artillery, and they were like
motorcycles.
Yeah, and they were like, "Hey, Germany's like, hey, why don't you go ahead and surrender?" And the Belgian guy with his little feather helmet on is like, "No." And like one round, they just blast this fort to smithereens, and the Belgian guy's like, "Okay, we give up." I mean,
yeah.
Check out this white flag, homie.
but they had, they brought automatic weapons, they brought artillery, and so that changed war quite a bit. So that was kind of a scenario like that where you have this technology that never really been used before. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, he says the French had cavalry in World War One
got decimated.
Yeah, because these guys were still stuck in like the Napoleon era, where war was very romanticized, where you had the big plumy feathers and the sword charges, and then meanwhile, Germany's got this technology where they can just mow people down.
It's crazy, like because the Gatling gun was what Civil War. The creation of the Gatling gun was in Civil War, but that technology really didn't get around. Like the French didn't have it. The most of other countries didn't have that type of technology, and then Germany comes in, and Germany just goes, "I'm going to take that, but then I'm going to also put it into a single barrel, and I'm just going to make it faster."
It's like they made what's called a Paris gun. You ever hear about that?
I don't think I have.
It was this giant artillery gun. They loaded this thing in parts, like all the way across.
Is that the one on the train that goes on the train?
It goes on a train, and when they set it up, the gun crew had to be 100 yards away and stuff cotton in their ears and open their mouth because when they shot it, the pressure would blow their eardrums out.
What?
And it was called a Paris gun because they could fire it into Paris. The thing shot like 8 miles or something crazy like that. And like literally nobody had ever even dreamed of this before.
Oh, we were talking about the Mouse. The Mouse was the biggest tank in creation, I think.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why, like
when that rolled in.
I know that's World War II.
What is that?
Yeah. Like the Germans had some amazing scientists. We'll just give them that. They had some amazing scientists. They had a lunatic.
Yeah, that's true. But they devoted all their efforts, all their industry was towards stuff like that. Like in World War II, the tanks that the USA had were called Purple Heart boxes.
Yeah.
Because they would fire at a Panzer and the round would just ricochet off of it.
Yeah.
And then one Panzer round would go through one of our tanks.
Yeah, without any issue. It just knife like butter. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, so that kind of technology is just wild. But, M4 might have changed some things, though, or 240 might have did some things. Yeah. But they're still around, like the 50 cal. I mean, it's been around for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
The M2, I mean, that's been around forever. And that's fun to shoot, too.
Like, even if like the Revolutionary War had, like, let's just say a Model 7, it would be a world of difference.
Oh, yeah.
Their scout snipers would be crazy accurate.
Yeah. I mean, things changed when the repeating rifle came around.
Yeah.
That was a big deal.
Have you ever been to the Winchester Mystery House? Sorry, I know we're getting off topic on that one.
No, it's fine. I'll go ahead and you'll probably lose a bunch of questions when I tell you I've never been to California in my life.
Oh, okay. So
interview over. You're like, okay, we're gonna wrap this up.
Well, hey,
we haven't been.
It was really nice talking to you, Rob, with the Fat Drunk and Stupid podcast.
Now we're going to talk about California after these messages.
We don't travel that often either, so we've mostly just seen California.
We actually were going to go, but COVID.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I hope you still get to go.
Well, we're planning on camping across the way.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh my gosh.
Because my wife has family in Northern California.
Oh yeah,
like up around. She's gonna murder me because I can't remember. I never remember this place. The place up near where the old Bigfoot video was done.
Eureka.
Eureka.
Well, yeah, kind of. I guess. Jeez.
Oh. Yeah, no, up north, Jefferson area.
It's like up north. there was a fire up there a couple years ago. That probably doesn't narrow it down.
Sonoma?
No. I mean, there probably was a fire in Sonoma.
Basically, all of California's been on fire for like 5 years.
So
I know that sucks. That probably wasn't a good reference, but I know that it was near where her family lives. Like one fire a couple years ago.
Yeah,
there
like
was
2 years ago.
there was a big fire over there. Man, I am.
Is it coastal or off the coast?
I don't believe so. Hang on, let me see. Redding.
Yeah, Redding, California.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
up
I was close.
So like 3 hours south of that is like San Jose, and they have this Winchester Mystery House, which is a house that was constantly built by Miss Winchester.
Yeah.
In in order to prevent her from getting the same type of thing her husband had.
She thought they were haunted by the ghost of
all the people that the weapon had killed. Yeah. I've seen it on TV a couple times.
It is cool. Crazy because like she got she
doors to nowhere.
Yeah, there's a door that you can walk through it and it goes outside. You have another
from
door,
the 3rd story.
Yeah, you have stairs that go into the ceiling.
There's like didn't like part of it fall apart too?
Yeah, but
earthquakes.
She kept building on it like every day something had to be built on that property in order for her to prevent her from getting the same thing her husband got because some psychic told her.
But they have a museum underneath.
Yeah.
They have a museum from like pre-Civil War.
Yeah.
Rifles.
But they got the repeating rifle and all that stuff, and it's really, really cool, man. Like,
oh, nice. Yeah. We were going to do so a couple years ago. We were going to do a trip from here, and we live in Joplin, Missouri, which is in southwest Missouri. We were going to drive across. We were going to drive across Kansas. We were going to stay in like Estes Park, Colorado. Then we were going to go up to Yellowstone and kind of swing through there and come back. Well, that ended up not happening.
Yeah.
And so then this year we were going to go out to visit their family up in Redding, and we were going to take our camper, and then the in-laws were going to take their camper, and we were going to camp and hit up some parks along the way and make like a 2-3 week trip out of it,
Yeah.
And then COVID happened. Unfortunately, it ruined everything.
COVID, you bastard!
You bastard! You got me! You bastard! You got me! But now, I mean, we're definitely going to do it, and I think probably be better like if our daughter was a little older, when she, and
helped you with the, her memorizing things, like. It's like
kids don't really remember much from when we did things when they were toddlers.
Yeah, you take them to Disneyland when they're 3. They don't remember ever seeing Mickey.
No.
I do remember the Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Now we figure once we get her completely housebroken and we get through COVID, we can do something like that, hopefully. So,
and of course, giving her a pack of smokes to keep her small.
Yeah. And that way she can drive when it's her turn.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I can rest. So but that's the plan. But I've never been, and they've been out there quite a bit.
Bullet in the whiskey in the bottle and be all right.
Of course, yes. Yeah. My in-laws went to the Rose Parade a couple of years ago. That was one of their big bucket list items.
That's cool.
They have some more family, I think, that lives in that area somewhere around there, like Pasadena or something. So yeah, they went and did that. But no, I've never been out there, but I would like to.
Yeah,
it seems cool. It seems like California's so weird.
It's super weird.
It's so big, but it's like a different ecosystem throughout each part of the state.
It really
it's so
is.
Weird looking.
We have the desert, the coast, the valley where it's hot as hell.
Yeah,
and then Los Angeles is like its own entity, and everything's different. You go up north and it's a forest that rains all the time.
Yeah.
Over in the Redding area, you get a lot of rain.
It's beautiful up there.
You guys are in Bakersfield?
Yeah.
We're right in the middle of it. We're called the armpit of California. It smells like it too.
How come Bakersfield gets a bad rap? I've always liked Bakersfield because of Buck Owens. I always thought that was cool.
Yes, that's right. Merle Haggard. Right on.
Yeah. It's got a lot of the worst places too.
Yeah, we were always the top list of all the worst things. So like worst education, worst worst air. We have the worst air in, I think, all of the United States.
Worst
Because we
place
have
to
so many
raise
cows.
a child.
Yeah, I think it's a great
Worst place
to
for
raise a child.
education.
Worst
Yeah.
place to be. I don't know. It's weird. I've seen like
It's a
movies
weird
and
place.
movies and TV shows like make jokes on Bakersfield. For some
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
they do. They always
Yeah.
depict us as like country
They're like,
bumpkins.
oh,
Like,
I always go.
it's
so
a little more city than the TV shows.
what's that movie with Tom Hanks and he's lost on an island?
Wilson?
Castaway?
Castaway. Okay. The only reference to Bakersfield that you need to know is from that movie, all right, where a porta potty shows up, and that's part of his raft, and it says Bakersfield, California on there. That's literally all you need to know about Bakersfield is we're good at porta potties.
That's not true at all. We're agriculture town, so we have a lot of farms and fields
We're
in a city in the middle of it.
We're agriculture and oil. Those are our two leading industries over here. And rednecks. We definitely have a high concentrated rednecks out of California.
Not like the good kind, like the bad kind.
Yeah.
Joe versus the volcano. I'm not sure of the reference.
Is that a Bakersfield thing?
I don't know.
I haven't seen that movie in forever.
Yeah, somebody in the chat just said Joe versus.
Stagger.
Yeah,
that is an old Tom Hanks movie where he's like an office guy and decides to go to this island or something and sacrifice himself or something. I haven't seen it's like 80s Tom Hanks movie.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it forever. I don't remember.
Yeah,
it's like a pre what is that? Castaway.
Pre-Castaway?
Looks like a
that would be
story.
pre-Castaway.
It's on a sailboat.
It's an 80s movie.
But is there a porta potty with Bakersfield on it?
I
don't know.
We will watch it.
Well, I know what we're doing this weekend.
The only other Bakersfield reference I know is Kevin Harvick because he's from Bakersfield.
Oh, that's true. He's
yeah.
Bakersfield's driver.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. That's all my reference there.
That's pretty accurate, actually.
So Jimmy was saying that he thought we were referencing Tom Hanks
Joe
and Joe
versus
the Volcano
instead
of in Castaway.
Because he's also stranded out in the ocean.
Because he's first off, we know that if you ever want to go traveling, you do not travel with Tom Hanks.
No.
Never travel with him. You're guaranteed to have something bad happen. Look, he's not a good pilot he's not a good boat captain. He's not
He's a great pilot in that one movie I just watched.
Captain Phillips?
Yeah. Is that it?
What happened to the plane?
No, Sully. No,
Sully.
He saved it.
Captain Phillips is the boat pilot, right? Or
I don't know. I didn't watch that one.
Yeah, it's when the Somalis take over the boat.
So in Sully, like he gets hits with a bird, both engines fail. I mean, yeah, he lands in the river.
In the
yeah, but see, with Sully, that's a true story. That's not Tom Hanks' fault.
I know, but it's still Tom Hanks playing.
I don't see Tom Hanks as Tom Hanks. I always see him as Forrest Gump, but that's my favorite.
Once again, don't travel with him.
Forrest Gump is such a good movie.
It really is
my absolute favorite.
It really
I remember
is.
seeing the movie in the theater with my parents. I remember seeing that. Yeah.
Like 1993, I was at my grandma's house, sitting on the
93? Did it come out in 93?
I think 91, 92.
Jimmy Stagger just pointed out in Big Bang Theory there was an episode called Bakersfield Expedition where
they came to a crappy Comic-Con, right?
They were supposed to come to the Bakersfield Comic-Con, all right? And they get all dressed up in their gear, okay? They got their Klingon stuff and everything's all set up. Mm-hmm. They get out of the car and their car gets stolen.
In Bakersfield, of course.
That's accurate.
It's just on the outskirts of Bakersfield, but it's Bakersfield-esque related.
The mean streets of Bakersfield.
Yeah.
Oh man, I do remember that episode. That episode cracks me up.
We just watched it maybe 4 weeks ago.
So HBO Max got all of the Big Bang Theory episodes, and I've been just trying to cut through them because it's $15 a month. I don't want to keep paying that bill.
That's the only thing to watch on there.
Yeah.
I've never watched any Big Bang Theory, actually.
It doesn't age well. And it's not that old.
Yeah.
But it's very, like, bad.
Yeah, it really doesn't. It doesn't age at all. It really doesn't. So let's get into your podcast, man. So how?
Oh, sorry.
So you've been podcasting. It's going to be a year this weekend.
Sunday, yeah. It'll be a year.
And then, we were talking in the pre-show about like you getting into podcasting, but what actually set you down this path? What made you decide, you know what? I'm going to make my voice be heard by ones.
By ones.
By ones, and then
by
have
dozens.
them multiply. Dozens of people will definitely hear my voice.
I have 3 people who download my podcast on 10 different devices each. Keep my numbers up. No, I was a big fan of, yeah. I was a big fan of podcasts, and then, like I said, I was like, well, maybe, and I could do that. It just seems fun. Like for no other reason, just seems like something fun to do. And then the more I looked into it, I realized you don't really need really that much to even do it if you want to do it. So, once I did the first episode, and then I did the second episode, which was me and 2 of my buddies. We were just sitting around hanging out at the house drinking like usual, and we were just kind of goofing off, and we were sitting at my dining room table, and I was like, hey, I'll be right back. So I run and get the microphone, and I had an iPad then that I used, and I plugged the microphone in, and I just set it, and I hit record, and I was like, okay, whatever we were talking about. So then that was the second episode, which probably just sounds like incoherent babbling, but but I was like, well, hey, whatever, this is kind of the idea that I had, was to be able just to kind of sit and just kind of shoot the breeze with people. As the podcast went on, I had gotten some guests occasionally.
Yeah.
And, I was like, okay, well, this is kind of cool, like talking to people that I don't know personally, obviously. And then I did some solo episodes, and I was like, oh, this is really, I like doing this. The first solo episode I did was, I had to kind of take my time and think about it, because you think it'd be easy just to talk for an hour by yourself, but it's really not. I mean,
it's not.
And so I did some notes, like not a script, but I did some notes, and I knew, kind of had an idea what I wanted to talk about, and kind of went from there. And so that was kind of, it's personal enjoyment for me. Like I said, I enjoy doing it. And one thing that I learned is you don't have to try to satisfy everybody, because it's never going to work.
No.
That's important to remember just in life.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in general, because I did an episode, and you may find this surprising, but I did this Memorial Day episode.
Yeah. That's one I just recently listened to.
So I hate that episode. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. You know why?
No.
Because I didn't get to, there was 2 things I really, really wanted to talk about, but I didn't, because I read all these other people's movie mentions and shit instead.
Yeah.
And so when I got done, I was like, I don't like that. Like, to me, that seemed very lazy for me. And it's not like it's a super big deal. It's just one of those deals where, to me, I wanted to talk about Black Hawk Down and the importance of that book to me in that movie. And I want to talk about these 2 other books that were written by my battalion commander, my battalion sergeant major, when we were in Kuwait and Iraq, that talked about events that happened while we were there. And like right at the very end, I kind of mentioned those things, but I said, you know what? I want to talk about what I want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't have to be driven by what other people want me to say.
It's hard to step out of that box.
Yeah. So, but I didn't take it down, but I learned from it, and I was like, well, you know what? I'm not going to do that again, because it literally was me for 40 minutes just reading off people's names. Like, oh, at, Mexican Candy 420 said Saving Private Ryan. Okay, here's your shout out, man. And that's kind of what it was, right? And
yeah,
and so I'm like, well, it's kind of weird. I don't know, it just wasn't fulfilling for me. And that's the reason why I do podcasting, is because to me it's personally fulfilling and it's enjoying, and you enjoy it. And I think if you don't enjoy it, just like anything else, any other hobby you have, if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to be doing it.
Exactly.
Like I play guitar as a hobby. I love playing guitar. If I didn't like playing guitar, I wouldn't, because there's no other reason for me to do it other than just personal enjoyment. And also there's, the veteran stuff. There's the mental health stuff I've talked about before, that I talk about. I did an episode where I talked about the police stuff after George Floyd was killed and all that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And that got like a ton of feedback. I didn't expect that at all. People still message me about that. But I was just being honest. I was sharing a personal experience from when I was a police officer. I was a police officer for 9 years. And so I was like, well, here's my experience when I was a cop.
Mm-hmm.
And, I put out a disclaimer. I've worked for 3 departments in 2 states, Virginia and Missouri. I can't speak for NYPD. I can't speak for LAPD.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like to be in Denver or any of these other places. But I just try to give an honest, based on personal experience kind of thing, and that was kind of cool to me because so then I realized, oh, I can talk about heavier stuff, or I can, be funny and talk about some goofy stuff or whatever the case may be. And I think that's the beauty of it, is that you can do that, and if it's fulfilling to you, then you can do it.
It's easy to talk about the things that you feel like you're strong in.
Yeah. I mean, stuff that stuff that you like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's why I didn't want to be stuck in one topic.
Yeah.
Because I love music and guitars, and I love books, comics, movies, all kinds of stuff,
Yeah, you're the variety show,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was my thing, is like when I wanted to start this podcast, I was like, okay, what do we want to focus on? And we're like,
yeah, we weren't supposed to be on here at all. It's just going to be you.
Yeah, it was going to be a one-person show.
Mm-hmm.
And
then Abs jumped in.
What I found out is I don't like talking to myself.
Yeah.
I like to have conversation. I like to be able to talk. I like to banter a little bit, go back and forth a little bit, and you can't do that when you're talking to yourself. You're like, and another thing, you're wrong.
That was the biggest challenge when I did that police episode.
Yeah.
I took 2 weeks to think about what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to just be like yelling into the microphone and just regurgitating what people already read for themselves. Right. So that's why I felt that, well, if I put some personal stuff into it, and I was kind of hesitant about it because I was like, well, I don't know if I want to be sharing all this stuff, to all these people. They don't know who I am. But
yeah,
that's also kind of part of it's very freeing, I guess, to get that stuff off your chest, to be able to share it.
Yes, I agree.
And that's what I think, So, yeah, I mean, that's a very long answer for you, but and so sorry about that. But,
no, that was good. I like the emotion behind your drivenness.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just think it's fun. And I think that, like I said, I've learned some stuff. I actually so my Army buddy Casey has done a couple episodes with me. He lives in Milwaukee. And one night we were going to do an episode, and we couldn't, the internet was like not cooperating. It was pretty junky.
We understand.
Cox cable?
I don't know. This thing's changed names like 20 times. I really couldn't tell you. I think it's like Sparklight or something stupid.
Oh, okay.
Like sounds like made up,
Yeah.
So I said, hey, we'll just reconvene, a couple of in the weekend or something, because it was like a Monday or Tuesday. So then I said, well, I'm already here. I'm ready to go. I'll just do a solo episode. So I hit record and I started talking, and I got about 35 minutes in, and I just hit stop, delete, close the computer. And I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this tonight. But number one, I wasn't really prepared for a solo episode because you do have to prepare quite a bit if you're by yourself.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of, it just wasn't anything special to it. I didn't feel like it was anything coming out that was of any real value of anybody. So I just scrapped it, because I've seen a lot of other podcasts that say, hey, warning on this episode, it's not our best, and we apologize, but it's just not very good.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm like, why even put that out there?
Mm-hmm.
Just do it again. Just
only put out your best work.
Well, I mean, I think, you don't, I mean, that's the thing, is like, you don't have to feel, some people do, but don't feel so obligated to where it stresses you out about it, because I did an interview with a guest, and afterwards I messaged them and I said, look, I don't think that went very well on my end.
I make a lot of content that I don't like, But like whenever I post those things, it gets like 1,000 likes.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah.
So even if we don't like ourselves in that specific thing.
we're always going to be a little harder on ourselves, and that's a given. You know, I think that's fair. You know, but you're right. Like, you know, I will screen the episode afterwards, listen to it again.
And sometimes you come out shaking your head.
Yeah. I mean, we put out an episode every week. We do a live podcast. So like the requirements for us to put out a people should know that they're not getting the best here.
That's what I'd say. I'd be like, hey, what do you want from me?
I don't understand how you haven't figured that out yet. Like, you know, you're coming to a live podcast where we're having technical issues. We're not doing, you know, everything is on the fly. Yeah,
it happens. I mean, I think too, you know, with COVID, COVID, so many people had to use remote stuff, you know, on a ton of different podcasts. So, you know, that happens quite a bit. But one thing that I've decided too, and I've learned, is like when you're going to have a guest on your show, if you have a show that does guests, I'm like, I want to have a guest on that I'm interested in talking to them. I don't want to have someone on that I'm just for the sake of having a guest, because it doesn't always go very, you know, my show, much like yours, is very, you know, there's a couple like points or a couple questions or something like that, but mainly it's very open and very conversational. It kind of goes as it goes.
Yeah.
Not everybody operates that way.
It's hard to keep up with that if you're not a conversational type of person.
Right.
Yeah.
So
your background,
like, you know,
looks really green.
Dad's does, because he has green lights on.
I know. I just realized.
But no, you're 100% correct. Like if the person doesn't have a good feel and they're like, you know, they lock up every time you have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
You know, I did
We've
one.
had sometimes where we do that ourselves.
Yeah, it's difficult to move along, and then your hour episode becomes really, really short. You know, but yeah,
it does.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can say, well, just like that, well, what got you into podcasting? I just like it.
Yes.
And then it's that, and you're like, oh no.
It's like that.
You're measuring, like, do they want the short of it and want me to be quick, or do they want to hear the actual?
Yeah, when I send out my little notes, like, hey, you know, let's feel free to vent and chat. You know, like that's in there. I said, but just don't exceed 5 minutes, because I want to have a conversation with you. I don't want you to have the whole show. Like, I want to be able to converse. And I haven't had anyone really like get like, you know, too alpha male on me or anything like that, like where they're taking over the show. But you know, I have had people go, well, so what got you into podcasting? Like, I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When we're talking Fifth Element type of conversation with Bruce Willis, you know, we're getting lost a little bit, buddy. Like, tell me, like, what's your podcast about? Oh, yeah. You know, it's about like what?
Yeah.
You know, like all you can do is direct them as the host. You want to direct them in a conversation. Luckily, I have two other voices in here that can hold a conversation. You know,
yeah.
And
conversations. What's that?
It helps. It does help. You know, but when you're as a podcaster, you're going to talk to people. You're going to, you know that like that's your job. You know, even as a hobby, that's your job now. You're talking to people. You're getting recognized. I mean, how many times a day do we get in conversations that we get injected into conversations every day, like
you
on
mean
Twitter?
Like you on Twitter?
Yeah,
all day.
Yeah. You know, the Twitterverse is outstanding. Like, you know, I
thank you for all the recommendations, by the way.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, what goes around comes around, man. That's the way I see it. Like,
yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, definitely. You got to support to be supported. I learned that early on. When I got on Twitter, I got on Twitter at the end of April, and I only had 2 episodes. I did 2 episodes like September and October, and then I kind of didn't do anything. And then I said, I'm gonna make a Twitter and start doing episodes regularly.
Yeah.
And I had 20 downloads or something at that point, and it was all people that I knew that my wife had put on her Facebook. And then because I don't have Facebook or anything.
Yeah.
And now it's like, wow, people actually listen to this. Holy hell, this is crazy. And
go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I want to hear your.
Okay, but one thing I learned was that you to support other people, to be supportive. That's really really important, because there are some podcasts, not gonna name any names, but they kind of have the people will come to me mentality, but then they'll also tweet and say, why don't we have any listeners, or why don't we have any followers? And I've actually had people tweet me and message me, people I don't even know from Adam, and say, how do you have so many Twitter followers? And I'm like, I don't know. I just tweet with people. I just tweet with people. Number one, I'm really good looking. Number two,
I mean that's a killer bot.
I have a bunch of Russian bots that follow me.
Yep.
Anybody with a name and like 40 numbers, that's all me. I'm like, yep, gotcha.
Right. Come over here.
No, but there's but when I first got on, I'll give a shout out to Cinematic Blind Spots, by the way. Those guys
just did their show finale.
Love those guys to death, man. But when I got on Twitter, they started following me like right off the bat. I don't know how, and I don't even know how they even saw me on there. But they were one of the first ones to retweet my stuff and to interact with me.
Right on.
And so that was a big deal. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I remember I was like a couple weeks on Twitter, and I was mentioned in my first Follow Friday. I was mentioned in a Follow Friday list, and I was like, oh man, this is awesome. So then I just started, if I saw a podcast, and by the way, here's some inside information right here.
Oh,
here's how you get people to follow you. You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm listening.
You follow them, you retweet their latest episode. 99.9% of the time they will follow you back.
Yeah,
100%. Because people do that to me.
So good for your SEO too.
And people do that to me quite a bit. Like your pin, by the way, have a pin tweet.
I have one every week.
Yeah, your pin tweet's important because nobody wants to dig through your timeline and look for your junk. Have a pin tweet that either has all your links or your latest episode or something. That way, that's what people retweet, and that's like kind of like a podcast thing I've learned. Like they retweet and I'm like, okay, cool, and then I follow them back.
Yeah.
Done deal. And even like some of the bigger podcasts at the time, I was like, okay, whatever. I followed them, retweeted them. They follow me back. They hit me up with a message. Hey man, thanks for the retweet. Appreciate it. What's your show about? Oh, it's just me kind of hanging out, talking, whatever. And then it kind of goes from there. And then just from being on Twitter since then, I mean, I've not only have I connected with people, but I've made like real friendships with these people.
Yeah,
which is really cool. Because like me and you now are best friends for the rest of our lives.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're I got a above ground pool over Missouri. I'm going to go to.
Oh, anytime. Got a patio, got a beer fridge. We're ready for you.
Go.
But that's kind of like, it's almost like Twitter podcast etiquette, which is weird. There's like this whole like.
No, there's definitely some rules. I mean, you and I are both in some group chats and stuff like that. They know when somebody's being shady, and that they'll put that person on blast and like, oof, all right, you don't want to do that. We're not going to do that. That's not happening.
No.
You're like, all right, whatever. I know that for like me, this Twitter, I don't think I've started that long ago, but, and growth has been steadily going, man. Like 3 or 4 new followers a day. I follow back because I feel like there are some shady people when they'll follow you and unfollow you immediately after they follow them. It's like, all right, dude, whatever. Like that's the game you want to play. That's cool. I'm just here to support. Like I want to support you because the way I see it is the world will always give back what you put into it. And as long as you're being supportive, people are going to be supportive back. And that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
You know?
And the cool thing is too is that me personally, like I'm a fan of you. Like I'm a fan of yours. I'm a fan of your show and what you guys do, and I'm a fan of these other podcasts. So when I retweet people or do like a follow Friday or something,
Yeah.
it's like me, like I'm having like a fangirl moment kind of, because it's
Yeah,
so cool
exactly.
because I, like there's so many really, really good shows that you interact with, and it's just like everyday people, really.
And like your wife also, man, your wife is like
Yes.
super awesome.
So I conned her into a Twitter account.
Uh-huh.
I like it.
to because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get on Twitter, and she's like, oh, I don't like. I was like, well, I mean, because she's on Facebook, but she uses that really for free marketing for her business.
Yeah.
So she got on there, and she was also not into really not into podcasts until she got on Twitter, and then she started listening to some of these, and now, I'll hear like podcast playing at random, and I'm like, oh, I know who that is, and I'm like, oh, it sounds like,
Yeah. I
but
noticed like on your podcast, you do cold opens with other people's podcasts.
yes, I do.
That is so cool.
Yeah, I do promos. If you get a promo, I'll play it for you.
No, I'm not very good at promos.
No, just do it. Be like, hey, it's Roosterbat show. Listen to me, or be stupid. I don't know.
I like it. Can we distill that one?
I know.
I'll do it for you.
We were talking about.
I'll come find your ass. Yeah.
Follow me or
do it.
Get into the forever box.
Yeah, that was also something very cool. Is promo swaps.
Yeah.
Review swaps. People like doing that too.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool too. But promo swaps are really cool, And sometimes, like a couple weeks ago, I'd taken like a week break for no real reason whatsoever.
But those are the best ones.
Yeah, but I had Ariel Dundas on. She's a stand-up comedian in New York, and I felt good about the episode. So I did like 5 podcast promos from other shows, just loaded it down because I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I want all these people. I want their promos to be heard.
Yeah.
So you hit play, and so I usually have at least one promo that starts the beginning of the episode, and then like a little tiny guitar interlude, and then I just start talking.
Yeah,
that's it. Probably, I've kicked around the idea of doing like a song, like just playing some more guitar and kind of doing it, but I try to keep that as simple as I can.
My intro and outro were done by the lead singer of Get Set Go.
Oh, nice.
And he's known for his music on Grey's Anatomy and stuff like that. He's done albums and stuff like that. Dude writes a song every day. Like he has like 350,000 songs. And when I was like, hey man, I'm looking at doing an intro for my thing. He's like, yeah, I got you, man. Like, you're always like super cool. And, he's a good friend. He's like, knocked it out, dude. And I think
I like it more than you do.
Yeah, I love the show intro. It goes Roosterbat. Yeah,
I like it, man. I was kicking that around because I was like, well, I can just play like some guitar or something and record like a couple pieces. To put in there, and then sometimes when I do an episode, I just don't even put anything in there. You hit play and you hear a promo from another podcast, and then you just hear, hey, welcome to this week's episode of Fat, Drunk, and Stupid. And then it just goes,
that's not bad either though. Like, you as long as people know what show they're listening to. That's why I always like to tell everybody that this is, what did we decide on? Just the slow, sober and ignorant.
That's enough.
I think that one was yours, not mine.
I was like, I was gonna open up the intro like, this is the slow, ignorant, and or the slow, sober, and ignorant show.
Yeah. Slightly overweight or moderately overweight, sober and an idiot.
Probably the highest compliment one of the highest compliments I got was a review that someone said, just listen to this. It's on Apple, it says like just listen to Fat, Drunk, and Stupid. And I don't know about fat or drunk, but the guy is definitely not stupid.
Oh.
And I was like,
I mean, I'll take the compliment. That's a good compliment.
That is brilliant, man. Yeah. I like that. Thank you.
He could be fat. He could be drunk.
Could be both.
Definitely not that stupid.
Could be both. Could be both. You know, the people. I like when people will play my promo and they'll say, "We have a promo from Fat, Drunk, and Stupid." Like it's kind of weird for them to say those words together.
Yeah.
Which I just get a kick out of it because I don't know.
I just think it's kind of fun. You do seem not that drunk.
Yeah, you're not that drunk yet.
You're easy to have. You're a good drunk if you are.
No, I'm good. I've only had 3 beers.
That's
so I ain't even close. I had a beer with dinner. We had some sushi. I ate a metric shit ton of sushi. and then I've had like 2 beers so far. So yeah, that's another thing, man. I had one or two where I went like way overboard with the booze. And you know, it kind of gets like things get a little glossy, like I'm trying to push a button, trying to figure out what to do.
So I really don't drink. And it's just a personal choice. There's no real reason, you know.
That's good.
I used to drink all the time, and I used to like have my checks cashed at the bar. Like it was bad. It was bad. So I just, you know, quit drinking pretty much, you know, when I got together with my wife.
It's a good policy to have.
Yeah, it really is. And you know, you would think it would save you money.
He's a pretty giggly drunk too, so it gets awkward.
Yeah. Here's the thing: is like you're like, oh, I didn't drink. I haven't drinking 2 weeks. I saved a bunch of money, but then you go buy something else. So
yeah,
or your wife takes your money. You know, so
that too.
I have an expensive vice too, so there's that.
Yeah.
Or you start podcasting. So
you know, you nailed it there.
You know, you're like, oh, I need this mixer board. I need this microphone. I need this stream deck. I need 5 screens.
You don't need 5 screens. You just like 5 screens.
I do like the 5 screens.
And they all came from other parts of the house, so it's like you're like scrap shopping.
Yeah, I mean,
through our stuff.
Guitar Center has my name now.
There you go. Yeah,
my hands are really cold.
The name of the podcast though was just me trying to figure out something kind of creative.
Yeah.
And I always like that quote from Animal House, obviously. Bad, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son. And I always thought it was kind of funny. And so I was like, man, well, maybe I could do that, you know, Fat, Drunk, and Stupid, because it's kind of to me, it's also kind of play on being content.
Yeah.
Like fat and happy or whatever, you know, just, you know, and so, and it's not really like directed towards any certain topic. It's just kind of a thing. Cause I had someone ask me who's going to be on the show. They're like, look, I would love to be on the show, but I don't drink. And I said, well, you don't have to drink. It's not mandatory, you know, it's nothing, you know, nothing like that. So, but no, I think I like it because sometimes people go into it thinking it's going to be just like drunken bar banter, but then it ends up being actually coherent. So people are surprised.
What is this nonsense? I didn't sign up for this.
Me with half a sip of a beer.
Yes. They say drunk. I disagree.
I want my money back.
So we had so I saw your Twitter post about how well you love Carol Baskins.
Oh gosh.
I love trolling people on Twitter. It's so funny. People get all whipped into a frenzy. It's like
Carol Baskins is on Dancing with the Stars.
God. Look, I haven't watched that show because I don't really want to. The problem is those shows remind me of the people I dealt with when I was a cop, and I don't want to relive those people.
That's fair. And
so I just haven't really watched it. But people like that always get like celebrity, man, you know?
Yeah.
And you know, and then you read about all this horrible stuff these people have done and all this wackiness that these people have done.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like,
it's pretty bad. It's as bad as you imagine.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, it gets worse each time.
Like how? Like you're like, okay,
love a good train
we
wreck,
have
man.
definitely hit rock bottom in 2020 when Tiger King came out. That was rock bottom, and then it continued. Like the rock started rolling downhill.
And like collecting shit as it went.
I mean, I watch dumb stuff too. I mean, it's not a big deal, but
Yeah,
no, I just was like, I saw that and I was just like, whatever. Because like my wife watches the Real Housewife shows.
oh, they're all real.
Yeah, they're real. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I always give her some stuff about that, and it's just like women just like screaming at the top of their lungs for like an hour straight.
Not being a Karen whatsoever.
But that's kind of her unwind, like mindless television thing.
Mine is Criminal Minds.
Yeah, we're stuck on Criminal Minds right now.
I've never watched Criminal Minds.
It's on Netflix. That's all.
I don't watch TV shows or movies. I just read.
I think we've gotten to the point where we are like, we've watched everything ever.
Yeah. That's the thing is there's a couple things we watch. Like we were just watching the new season of Lucifer. That's a good show.
We're watching that as well.
Also shows a lot of Los Angeles in it. We were talking about Los Angeles last night, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And like Bosch on Amazon is really good.
So we watched the first 2 seasons on that one, and then it's a really good show. It's just not my type of show. It's kind of hard to watch.
It is good. The problem is I feel like if that's the season I'm talking about, like it got really slow. Like it was like super, super, super slow where not much was happening. It kind of got this thing where the first episode would be like bam, bam, bam. And then you had 8 episodes of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think we fell off before the end of the season.
Yeah, it kind of seemed that way. But it's a good show though. And I've read several of the Michael Connelly novels, the Bosch books. They're really good. For me, my wife loves watching TV shows. She's watching like Vampire Diaries for the 12th time. What else? So I can't even remember all the stuff she likes, but there's a couple things I like.
Are you looking at me weird because I breathed?
Right into the mic.
Yeah,
I'm like far away from the mic.
We have all of our microphones amplified, so you hear everything. We were like, before the show started, we started doing some ASMR, like just like opening up a soda can.
There you go.
Yeah.
I also apparently made spell noises.
She made a crap.
The mic picked it up nicely.
Yeah, it does. The microphone's amazing. But yeah, no, we've been watching a lot of shows. COVID got you sitting down doing a whole lot of nothing. So yeah, you find
it's too hot right now. It's too hot to do anything.
I don't know what it is over Missouri, but we're like at 105 this weekend.
It's not 105 here, but it's been humid. I mean, it was here. It goes on this like run of about 45 days of just max humidity, and then it starts to chill out a little bit, you know, typically. But yeah, that was one thing about working from home is that I'm like, I'm not going outside. Why would I go outside? It's hot as hell out there. I don't need to go out there for anything. I go take the trash out and come right back in. I don't want to be out there. But yeah.
Sweet, man. So do you have anything to plug? You have new episodes coming out?
Well, I'm kicking off year 2 next week. So that'll be out on Tuesday morning.
Okay.
That'll be a solo episode. And I'm not real sure everything when I'm going to talk about. That's but it'll probably be talk a little bit about year 1, and I'll shout you out, of course, because this is still technically year 1. So I was going to shout out all the shows that I guested on year 1 as well.
Yeah.
And I was going to do that, and then I had some stuff I was like, oh, yep, year 1, baby, gotcha. So talk about that, and then just start that on next week. And then next week I'm also on 3 other podcasts: Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. Yeah.
Okay.
So looking forward to that. Yeah, that's exciting. I like it, and I'll be on with the Irish boys this weekend if they can get their stuff together. So we'll see.
All right, where can everybody find you, man?
Find me on Twitter at FDS Podcast 7, and then also the YouTube Fat Drunk and Stupid, and then also on Twitch. But I don't remember the name of the Twitch thing, so I'll have to put that on my links.
I think it's Fat Drunk and Stupid Pod.
Fat Drunk and Stupid Pod. There you go. Yeah. See. But yeah. So that's it. That's all I just have a Twitter. I kind of kicked around the Instagram idea, but I was like, nah, I'm good.
I have an Instagram.
Well,
yeah, I don't know.
I'll tell you, like, Instagram does really kind of help you like get a face to the name, you know.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people that really can work Instagram. I'm not very good on Instagram. I have like, but there are some people that do amazing on Instagram. So
yeah, there are some podcasts that they say that they have a huge Instagram following, but on Twitter they don't really, you know. So it's weird. I don't know.
I use my Instagram for mostly drawing.
Yeah.
But like I posted my first drawing today in months.
Cool.
So we're gonna go ahead and end the show and just kind of stick around for a minute.
Okay.
I'm gonna make mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese.
Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom.
All right. And we're clear.
And we're good.
Okay, if you guys want to push your microphones back.
Am I off?
Yeah, you're off.
Cool. You guys have fun.
Sweet.
I'm gonna go to my bedroom.
Bye.
Make mac and cheese.
You making that mac and cheese?
I'm gonna go to my room because I have a lot of notifications on my phone.
All right. Bye.
And I don't.
I was red the whole episode, and I think it has to do with the color. No,
I thought it was green.
That's crazy.
no.
Was it
The green was good, but my skin tone, I was a lobster. Like
I just thought you were just red like that all the time. I didn't.
yeah, no. It's
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna figure out what's going on. There's my child. I'll bring this over. So
Was that good? Did I do a good job?
You know what? You're okay.
Nah, that was terrible. Go ahead.
Awful.
Just say it. Just say it.
I don't know. Let's turn off auto white balance. There we go. Right. Yeah, dude. So what I'll do is I will send you an audio file with this, and let's see. Change the contrast a little bit. But I will send you a. That's way too red. Man, that's gonna bother me. I'm gonna have to fix that when you'll get a MP3 file, and then from there, if you want to upload it as one of your shows too, that's fine. I don't have an issue with that. And you have no issue with me putting them on Instagram and all that stuff, right?
No, go ahead.
Okay, cool.
Do you want the like a little show logo thingy to post with it?
Yeah, send that over. I don't think Jimmy Stagger's still in the chat. Let's see. It looks like he might be. Jimmy, you still there?
Jimmy, are you there?
Are you there? You know, he was so like talkative. I don't know if you could see it, but yeah, man, he had really good insights. He knew exactly.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah. So he does a Friday night show.
Yeah, it's called Friday Night Music Party. So he does the internet radio show, and each one of them are themed. Like he did one last week or two was like 60s, and he also plays like the radio commercials from the 60s, like you would hear from that time period and stuff like that. And when me and him, he followed me on Twitter a couple months ago, I think it was, and then he was like, "Oh, hey, I like your podcast. Here's my show," and I was like, "Oh man, that's pretty sweet," you know. So
yeah,
he asked me for a promo, and I sent it, and he played it on the radio show. And he's like, "Oh, I've never don't really play promos and stuff, but I'll play yours." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So yeah, he's a super nice guy and very supportive of podcasts and stuff like that. So
I haven't even thought about the idea of promoting people. Like so this chair right here is a buddy of mine actually created this chair. You know, did the whole work and all that stuff. And he's like, "Hey man, I got a discount code for you. You know, you can tell everybody to go KNC Outdoors, and then put in the code RBS20 and they get 20% off that chair." And I was like, "All right, cool." He's like, "Do you want a chair?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude." So I bought the chair. Like I didn't even get it for free, and I don't get any money back. But it's
right,
you know, like
yeah,
you know, like so, you know, like for me, like the concept, the idea of promoting somebody on my show is like a difficult thing. Like I have a code, everybody can save money, like, but I'm not gonna get anything. So I was like,
yeah,
you know, that's
the big thing about the promos is that you can swap. So, you know, I play yours, you play mine, kind of thing. And it's neat because it's another way to kind of interact with people, you know, and so like when someone posts an episode, they tag you in it and they say promo by, you know, FDS Podcast 7 or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So then maybe if they hear the promo, they'll come, maybe people from that show will check out your show or vice versa. So that's kind of the idea. But yeah, but it's fun. A lot of people will do them, like they'll do one in the middle, like they'll take a little break and they'll play a promo or two promos, and then they'll come back. There's a good podcast called Married Mash. It's a married couple, and they taste like a bourbon and whiskey, and they talk and stuff. So they do it where they talk for a while, and then they go to pour the whiskey, and they say, "We're going to go to the bar. We'll be right back." And then they play a promo from another show. And then when they come back, they're like, "Okay, we got our bourbon, and we're tasting this week," and they sip it and talk about it.
See, I like that. Like the idea of commercials. Like I hear a lot of people, like especially like on Anchor. One of the big things that I tell people on Anchor, like, don't put your ad before the show even gets started. Like Anchor has the ability to do segments. Do your show, break it into segments. Like don't, if you start off with, "Well, let me tell you about Anchor. Anchor is an app," I am not going to listen to the rest of that show. Like that's where I stopped. Like
I've never done that with Anchor either. I've kept that turned off.
Yeah. Like well, there's a lot of people like, they're like, "Oh, I can get money." And no, you absolutely get your money, dude. Like I want everybody to be profitable in this business. This is a business.
Yeah.
It's a hobby, but it's a business. You are working at it. You don't spend $200 on a microphone, or $800 on you know, all this other equipment, you know, to not eventually come up with a profit. That's, you know, like a lot of it's a hobby.
I hope to get sponsored by Miller Lite one day.
Yeah, Miller Lite. You know, that's the thing about it is like you know, eventually you have to figure out how you're going to do this long. If you're going to go in there and the first 20 seconds or 30 seconds is you talking about how great Anchor is, and nobody's heard anything about you, it's really, really hard for you to.
Yeah.
So when you say, "Hey, we're going to go to the bar," that's a great way to break up your episode, to create those segments and give you that ability to be able to go, "Okay, I can put something here." I've always tried to figure out, like, I need to put a commercial in, you know. I have a sponsor, not a real sponsor, but like I have a friend of mine that I want to sponsor his equipment, you know. But how do you break that up in a live episode?
Yeah, no, live it's hard to do. I mean, unless you had a thing where you could, I don't know, throw up like a "be right back"
Yeah,
graphic or something.
I have that. Yeah, I definitely have.
Yeah,
that.
or something like that maybe. And I'm not smart enough to figure that out, but
Yeah,
probably something along those lines, maybe. Or
you know what? That is good. I have that because I have with a Stream Deck. You can actually just press a button, and it'll give me a 30-second pop-up ad.
Mm-hmm.
It'll put it up there, and it'll be like my little promo. You won't hear it. It gives us 30 seconds to drink some water, whatever, and then we come right back. Hey, we're back. You know, I just haven't figured out all the workings on that. Hey, you know, you were talking about in the episode about how Russian bots are your friends, right? I talked to Nikki. So you know, Nikki, or in bed with Nikki. And so I was chatting with her. She messaged me because I was doing the tagging. You know, she followed me, so I was like, okay, she's a new follower. You know, she has a lot of work. I'm just going to put her in my collection. She goes, hey, before you recommend me to people, make sure that they're over 18. I'm like, duh. Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
You're clearly an adult show, but
right. Yeah.
You know, she's like, oh, well, you know, Rob was like the first one to reach out with me, and you know, he asked me if I was a Russian bot.
I did, yeah, because it said she was a podcast, and she followed me in a couple other podcasts. So I was like, you know, so I messaged her because I was like, who is it? What is this? You know, just to kind of get. And she was like, oh yeah, I'm starting a podcast and blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And she's really cool. She's very supportive, and we did a promo swap early on, and you know, so she's really cool. Yeah, she's cool with like mentioning people and supporting other shows. And
no,
things
she
like
really
that.
is. No, she's been super supportive of other people. You know, I try to be supportive of her. Like, she's on top of it, man. She gets it. I just thought it was funny because, like, you know, she told me, she's like, yeah, if you ever want to bounce back and forth ideas, you know, like me and Rob bounce back and forth ideas. I'm like, yeah, dude, that sounds cool. Like, I would love to pick your mind about things, you know?
Yeah, that's the cool thing about it, man. Is like, you know, you just, like I said, you build friendships with people where you can say, hey, what do you think about this? Well, just like the Anchor thing, like we we're talking about, you know, it's like, well, there's nobody I know here in my personal life that I could ask them about Anchor. They would look at me like they'd be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But people that podcast who've experienced it and have used other products and stuff like that, you can say, hey, I see you're using this. What do you think about it? You know, what's your thoughts on it and stuff like that?
And like, you know, like you were talking about Buzzsprout, you know, a lot of people like Buzzsprout. A lot of people like, you know, Podfeed. A lot of people like all these ones. You know, I used to listen to, I'm an avid Stitcher listener. So if you're not on Stitcher, and Anchor couldn't get on Stitcher, that's why I made the switch to Acast, because I wanted to get on Stitcher. But like, if you're not an avid podcast listener and you're not like one of those people, Anchor does all the work. You know, you really don't have to do. Anchor will eventually get you on Stitcher if you're consistent in your product. Like, if you put a podcast out every 4 months and you expect people to have growth, Anchor's not going to help you. You know, that's just not their jam. I didn't know I was on Apple Podcast with Anchor, like when I started with Anchor. And I was frustrated because I was trying to input like you know how like it gives you that code to input to other podcasts. I tried to put, and Apple just kept denying it, saying unable to do it. I was like, so I ended up emailing Apple. I'm like, what gives, man? Like, what do I got to do to get this fixed? And they're like, oh, you're already on, dude. Like, go look at your stuff. I'm like, all right. But I have no access to it because it was through Anchor, and I don't use Anchor anymore. And so Anchor has their own like Anchor email. And so like you go and you're like, well, how do I access this? Like, how do I know what my analytics are? And there's no way. I know like Talking Shits uses Chartable. I don't even know how to use any of that. Like,
I do use Chartable. So Chartable shows you all your reviews. So if someone like over in the UK gives you a review on Apple, you can't see it here in the U.S.
Yeah.
or other countries. So Chartable lets you see all of your reviews that people write from other countries, but it also tracks statistics. But Anchor doesn't allow connectability with Chartable.
Hmm. Well,
So
how do you use it though? Like, that's the part I don't understand. Do you have to like use a code or?
you're doing a free account,
Mhm.
and then you search they have a thing where you search for your podcast, and you I think you put in your RSS feed,
Okay.
I believe, from what I remember, and then they send you like a weekly email saying like, here's how many reviews you had, and then if you're not on Anchor or something, they'll say you had this many downloads this week, and they break it down by episode. And I actually had a couple episodes. I had that police episode charted in the UK. It was like 126 or something.
Wow.
Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, which is crazy. So it kind of shows stuff like that, but it doesn't work with Anchor for some reason. They don't allow because they think you should just be happy with the Anchor's on statistics. But the thing is, like you said, I mean, it's different experiences. Like people, even in our chat support group that we're in, they're like, oh, I moved to Buzzsprout and my downloads went up, and it's like, I don't think that has anything to do with it. I wouldn't think that would have anything to do with it.
I have a hard time believing that. Like,
I don't think so.
My analytics show me like my downloads go out at midnight on Monday, and then from midnight to like 1:00, all of my downloads are done on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
That means everybody's phone automatically updated, and whoever's following me is following me. Mm-hmm. Going to BuzzFeed or going to another service, I don't think that's going to change your analytics. I think, if anything, Buzzsprout or their likeness, Acast or whatever, I'm assuming that they have some type of like, oh, this is a new person, and they push it,
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah.
And if that's the case, that's awesome. I hope they do.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what because I was looking at I was actually looking at Buzzsprout stuff last night, and you have to pay for certain hours of download to upload your stuff.
Yeah.
And then people talk about that magic mastering, but that's like $6 extra a month. But what I do is I use Audacity.
Yep, same.
So you can do all that on your own through Audacity very simply for free. You can level all your shit out and compress it and whatever you want to do, noise reduction, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, I don't really want to pay. That's like $26 a month for 6 hours of podcasting a month.
And that's the thing. Like, okay, 6 hours of podcasting. What if you want to have a one-off show? What if you want? You're like, I'm stuck in the 6 hour confine. Like we're gonna talk for 2 hours. We're over 2 hours right now in live conversation.
Yeah.
And you're talking about if that's an episode, I'm only allowed to do 2 episodes a month.
I was like, I don't want to be restricted because it's like the free plan is 2 hours.
Yeah.
Then it's 3 hours or 4 hours. And then the next one up is like 6.
Yeah.
And the 6th one is like $18 a month.
Mm-hmm. But that's only if you pay an annual payment.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the mastering is like $6 or $8 extra where they master it for you. But I was like, well, number one, Audacity does that, or you can do that through Audacity already. And even Zoom, I think Zoom itself has some pretty good. I mean, I think that kind of handles the audio pretty good.
Yeah, so does my OBS. Because it has my desktop audio as one of the keys, and then it has my noise gates and all that stuff on there. And then it has my mic input as another audio mixer on there. So it has a built-in digital audio mixer. So even if I sound like shit to you on Zoom, that's correcting it over there. And then it
sounded good. I think it sounds good.
Yeah, no, I have a guy who is a good friend of mine, man, and he's like, I can tell you got a new mic. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, because your podcast sound like shit. Like, you're right, man. Like we were working with we had some old school microphones, like the 50s. Like I like the idea of having a 50s microphone.
Oh yeah.
However, they're garbage. They're utter garbage. And they were analog and like they sound like ding, you know, like something would rattle inside of them. And then they came with some wires that like as soon as you pull them out of the bag, they muted the microphone. And then so we changed them over to, because they were XLR, so we changed them over to XLR microphones, and then changed out the wires and all that stuff. And then the sound quality did get better. But once I got this Rode mic, holy snap, it is a world of difference. It really, really is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I got the Blue Yeti to start with, and I've been really happy with it. You know, I've kind of I keep it turned up. I keep the gain down pretty low, and the volume is turned up pretty high. And then I bought a boom arm for it, which was really a game changer.
Yeah,
because I'm 6'3", and so what I found was I was sitting at a desk, but I was kind of hunched over the mic. You know, I was kind of hunched over the microphone, and so lifting it up made a big difference actually, because you know it kind of opens you up where you're you know up and talking more. So I really like that. And the boom arm was like $30 off Amazon, and that wasn't a big deal. That was not.
Now, which boom arm did you get? Because we also got a boom arm, and it's $30, but it has the springs on the outside.
This is a toner, TONOR.
Yeah, I don't think ours is name brand.
Okay, no, but this one. Hang on a second. See?
Yeah, you have that one's kind of heavier duty than what we got here.
So yeah, you can. It's got a spring, 2 springs in the bottom, 2 springs in the top, where you can kind of scissor it open.
The one I want to get, I'm probably going to switch out. Is there's a one that's made by Rode, and it has all internal springs.
Oh, nice.
So, like, you know how like when you touch a table, you hear that sound.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I like those ones too. That kind of, it's a boom arm, but it kind of like it bends the mic up like this.
Yeah.
Kind of instead of coming like from the top.
This is mine. You can kind of see, like, I mean, imagine not having the boom arm and having the actual Rode version. Yeah. This has its own swivel.
Oh, nice.
So
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also bought, well, with the boom arm, it came with the windscreen, and then I came with a pop filter.
Yeah.
So I've kind of been, at one time I had them both on there, but I think I sounded a little too muffled with both. So I took the pop filter off, and I've just had this on there, and I've seen people do it a bunch of different ways. But
I like the Blue Yeti.
Yeah.
The Blue Yeti system it's a great system. It's perfect when you're in a room, no kids, no dogs, you know. It wouldn't work in this chaos. Like
that's why I record here at this office, because we have 3 cats, 2 dogs.
Yeah, I got 6 dogs. I got a Indian ringneck parrot, 13 guinea pigs.
Holy cow!
A lizard, a bearded dragon lizard, and a snake, all in this, plus 2 teenagers.
Yeah. There's only been one episode that's the second episode I recorded at home with my 2 buddies.
Yeah.
And it was kind of late at night, so my wife and kid were sleeping, but you could hear one of the cats in the background like, you know, walking around.
Yeah.
I was like, I get this cat out of here.
Audacity can't do nothing for that.
That was actually pre-Audacity. That was when I was using I was recording straight in Anchor.
Oh yeah.
But the first episode I used GarageBand, actually.
Oh really?
So I've used GarageBand's actually pretty good. It takes a little bit of setup in the beginning. You can do voice.
So are you using a Mac right now?
Yes.
Okay. That's gonna be difficult with Stream Elements. Because Stream Elements is really good on PC, not so hot on Macs, because it doesn't allow you to record the desktop audio.
Yeah. See, I don't know. See, this the one I have. I just was looking at it, googling it, and went to the site and I installed it. But
Yeah.
I was kind of playing with it and trying to figure out like what does what.
So
and so I don't know.
Yeah, OBS is it's a very basic mixer. It allows you to do cool things like have layers. Like you see in our show where we're split screen. We have all of our tags under it. That's all OBS. However, when it comes to Mac, for some reason you need to have I think it's called Soundflower downloaded on there to even capture the audio of your guest. And it just becomes a big pain in the rear. But it can be done. Like we have 3 Macs in here, and I was like, okay. But if I'm doing podcasting solely on here and gaming on Twitch, I need a PC. So I went out. Yeah. I went out and bought me a PC. I couldn't do it anymore.
So I was looking at it. This just says OBS Studio.
Okay, so you just have OBS Studio. That's the basic.
Yeah.
Everything is built off of that. So like, Stream Elements has OBS Live, which is OBS plus their stuff. Streamlabs is OBS plus Streamlabs. All of them have good product. OBS Studio has, it will work with both Mac and thing and PC.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I also had it's kind of funny. This MacBook I bought it like 2-3 months ago. I haven't had a laptop in probably, God, I don't know. I had like this old crappy Gateway laptop that weighed like 40 pounds.
Yeah.
But I told my wife, I was like, well, this podcasting stuff, I better get me a laptop, I guess. She was like, okay, so yeah, because I started off with an iPad. It was actually her iPad. I borrowed it to podcast, and I bought a USB adapter to plug the mic into.
Oh, that's cool.
And went from there. And that was also a good thing about Anchor is that it's really good for mobile stuff, because I would do on your phone or even on a tablet, you can go right to the app and record, and it does record with friends. Where you can send an invite to somebody and they can just jump on and you can record. And I did probably 4 or 5 episodes with other people like that, with a couple guests. I just did it through Anchor on the iPad. Like
See, that. I that's what I liked about Anchor. That's what I still like about Anchor is the fact that you can record with friends, and you can you have the capability of doing all that stuff. You don't get that with Acast. You don't get that with other like I had another podcaster, and he's like, hey, I'm starting a podcast, I'd like to have you as a guest. I'm like, sure, man. Like, you on Zoom. Is there I have Anchor. Can I do a record with friends with? Like, dude, send me the link. I'll open it up, because I just open it up right here on the computer, and it boom, there you go. I'm in the conversation with him, and we're being able to banter and this and that. And he's like, dude, this is so easy. I'm like, yeah. The other thing I like is if you ever get a chance to download Discord is both on Mac and PC and your phone. But you can put a Craig bot into your Discord, and it will record your podcast.
So I did that with I Think We're Doing It podcast. I was a guest on them back in May, which feels like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, they use Discord. So I recorded with them on Discord, and it worked. And I was still on the iPad then, and it worked pretty good.
Yeah.
I've also used Clean Feed with guests. It's like it's a website. Well, it's a website, but it's free to use, and basically it's just you can send an email invite to someone that can jump in.
Yeah.
And it records. You can do a single track, or you can do multiple tracks if you want.
Oh, that's cool.
And so the last last couple guests, I've done it through Clean Feed, and then I'll take it and run it through Audacity and clean it up and stuff like that, and then use it. So it's really not that bad. But I definitely think with next week, I'm gonna start using Zoom a lot more when I have a guest, because I also think it's better to see each other when you talk.
You know what? It holds a conversation a lot easier. That's why we're like, I prefer Discord. And the only reason I prefer Discord is because Discord already has noise cancellation in there, and it has other built-in features.
Yeah.
That Zoom kind of misses the mark. Also, Zoom has a big problem where it just doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, I prefer Discord for doing interviews and stuff like that. I've done multiple interviews through Discord, and throwing Craigbot in there, it does the recording as well. So it's like there's multiple features of my audio is being recorded. I know this. But Zoom or Skype, just having that one-on-one is great. Zoom being free and being able to talk to one guest is amazing. Like this weekend, I'm talking Shits, and they have 2 guys. They're both going to be on their own Zoom. Yes. You're at the bar.
Huh? There we go.
Yeah.
I almost had this on during the show, but I was like, nah.
You could have done that, dude. Like, it would have
been I've been goofing with it a little bit, so
yeah. I don't even know how to do all that. Like,
if you go to the video thingy where it says stop video, there's a little arrow next to it. If you click on the arrow, it says choose virtual background. Yeah.
I have to download it.
I tell my wife, I was like, I got to get a green screen so I can do and she's like, what? I thought you said this wasn't going to cost any money. And I was like, oh no. But that's also the thing too, is like, if I'm going to spend some money on something podcast related, I want it to spend on the most useful thing, does that make sense? Like, because I'm not super sold on moving from Anchor, to be honest with you. I was considering it, but then I thought, well, Anchor distributes it to all these different places, like you said, takes care of that for you.
Yeah. So
if I'm gonna spend on something, I was, even looking at like StreamYard, which,
Yeah. So Andy Anatomical is the one I was with last week or the week prior, and he uses StreamYard, and he just says it's the best thing, man. He has easy functionality, goes right up to YouTube and stuff like that. No muss, no fuss, man. He's just boom. He did.
That's what John uses on the Basement Surge, and because we did an episode where we recorded one like this.
Yeah.
And so on StreamYard you can record without being live with the paid version.
Yeah.
And then I was on the live show, and so the nice thing about it is it streams to Periscope, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch.
Oh, really? Periscope?
Yeah, it
too.
sends it all. Yeah, it sends it everywhere that you want it to go. You can link everything up to it, and just go for it. And you can do the graphics. And the cool thing is, it has like a little sidebar on the side.
Yeah,
where you can make your little banners and stuff, and just click them, and then it'll just drop it in there, and it'll run the ticker at the bottom, little graphics and overlays. And he's got that Stream Deck too, where he can do drops.
That Stream Deck literally changed the world.
He's got some other thing he was going on about. It was a Rode something.
The Prodecaster Row?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so it is a mixer. This is something my wife and I have talked about this since I got started. There is a mixer, all right, that literally all you need to do is bring the mixer with you, and it does everything you need it to do. You don't need to bring a laptop with you. Mixer and mic. That's it.
Yep. Yeah, it's got storage on it, the whole 9 yards. Like, you don't even need a computer. You just
it changes everything about your podcasting. It's literally a night and day transition.
And StreamYard, you can record. So when you get done, it gives you an audio and a video file.
Yeah.
And then you can do whatever. So it's kind of like, it does a bunch of stuff that you probably could do for free, but you need like 4 or 5 different things.
Yeah.
When you get the paid version of StreamYard, it does everything for you. Where you can do regular episodes, live episodes. It sends it out wherever you need it, stuff like that.
See, yeah. My whole thing about pain is like I'm not making any money at this, so
yeah, me too.
I wanna watch what I'm paying for, and like Acast is like, oh yeah, we'll help you, but $25 a month if you don't pay every month, or like you got to pay annually.
Yeah, and see with the free version, you can live stream to one platform.
Yeah.
And you can still do the banners and the overlays and the tickers and stuff, but it doesn't have a recording feature.
Well, what do the tickers do?
It's just stuff you can run across the bottom of the screen. Like you can put like your Twitter and your links and stuff, like on like ESPN or something, the stuff that runs at the bottom of the screen. It does that. Like you can put whatever you want to run across the bottom of the screen. And you can do like graphics and overlays and all this kind of stuff, So, it's kind of a, it's a broadcast studio is what they call it, where you can do all this kind of stuff. It's engineered towards live streaming. And you can do a bunch of people. You like 6 or 8, 10 people or something like that. Little chat, little boxes,
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff. But
I'm gonna clip that. You can do a bunch of people.
You can do a bunch of people. Put it on there. Put it on there.
Oh man.
Yeah, you should. Those guys are really nice. John is really knowledgeable about that kind of stuff. He actually does classes on podcasting and like video things and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
And he's super knowledgeable. And
that's the Basement Surge guys.
Basement Surge, yeah. You should just check him out. Just look at their setup and stuff. He's got all kinds of. He's like a mad scientist with all that kind of stuff, man. He's got it going on.
I definitely don't need to have a mad scientist changing the routine that we currently have.
No, you don't. But it is good because I kind of got the live because he's like, man, you got to do a live show with me, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
And then I did it, and it was a lot of fun, and so and of course I did the one with you tonight, and then so I was thinking about I'm gonna start doing some live shows because that's a lot of fun.
I like it. I do mine on Twitch. And Twitch is kind of it's a good and a bad thing. Like they have podcast capability, and they have a whole section for podcasting, but it's really hard to grow. If you're only doing podcasts, if you're gaming and stuff like that, you could build up a market. But if you're only podcasting, you really have to push the fact that you have a Twitch account. Like you have to let people know. I barely got 56 people or 58 people following me, and you need that plus 3 consecutive viewers, plus this and that to even get affiliated.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, well, if I do a live show, I could just either stream to Twitch or stream to YouTube, and then just tweet the YouTube out.
Yeah, and I haven't even thought about going to YouTube, but I think YouTube is a good idea. I mean, a lot of people, they like going straight to YouTube, and StreamYard I think goes straight to YouTube as well.
Yeah.
So,
I think if you do YouTube live, if you just go live on YouTube, it saves it for you, I believe.
Yeah.
Because that was my thing. I was like, well, if I do a live show, I want to be able to save it. Because I want to post the audio as a podcast episode as well. So I was trying to figure out how to do that to make that work.
So with Twitch, they have all your clips and stuff like that recorded. So you can do like little like snippets and stuff like that. And it does, your whole video will get automatically uploaded to YouTube. And then you can go into your video production back catalog behind the scenes and do all of your editing in
on
YouTube.
Twitch or on YouTube?
On YouTube. Yeah.
On YouTube, okay.
Like, so you can, like, say for instance, if you don't want the pre and post show, you can clip it down and say, okay, this is the only thing I want people to see. You know?
Yeah.
I don't really do all that. I mean, if you want me to clip that, I do clip out the audio part. So it's not 3 hours long in audio. It's only an hour long. And, you know, the other stuff is kind of hidden behind a paywall.
Oh, no, I don't care. It's your show, man. I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, it was so like my pre and post show, those are, you know, just basically like for the freaks and geeks of the Roosterbat show. If they want to listen to like, oh, what happened before the show or what happened after the show, become patron.
There you go.
Yeah.
You gotta pay to play, baby.
You gotta pay to play, you know.
$1
a month, man. We're not asking for much.
$1 much? Yeah, that's I get it. You know, I do feel like sometimes there's people look at podcasting kind of the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Like too early on, they'll say, just released our first episode. Here's our Patreon. Here's our merch store.
Yeah.
Here's this, here's that. And I'm like, wow, man, that's kind of sudden. I mean, I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade. To me, my opinion, I'm like, well, that's like a cart before the horse kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know? But I do know that there's a lot of people trying to make up some income because they probably lost a job because of COVID or something.
Well, for me,
you know,
I the way I saw it was, look, I'm giving you all the episodes for free. You're gonna have all the episodes. However, if you want more, if you feel like it's something that you're gonna benefit from by having more, I'm going to give you more. I'm going to give the option of giving you more. But those aren't going to be free. You know. They're going to be something that, you know, we put a little bit of work into this. If you want them, give me $1. I'm not asking for like $50. I'm not asking for $1 a week. You know, like give me $1.
No, I feel you, man. I mean, because you spend. I mean, it takes a lot of your time and a lot of effort, and you know it makes sense. And like I said, I think it's good for me. I thought, well, I don't know what would I do that people would want to pay money to listen to. Well, then I think, well, maybe down the road, you know. So
like, you know,
maybe I'll figure it out.
We were talking about stickers, right? You know, I know like your wife just bought some stickers, I think, right? From the four nerds by nerds.
Oh no, they sent them to her.
Oh yeah. Okay, so but there's those type of stickers. Those are like perks. You can, you know, fat, drunk, and stupid stickers. You can have them. Hey, you know, if you're a patron for like 3 months in a row, you know, we're gonna send you a sticker in this level, and you know, you can have like different levels. Like, some of our levels is like, hey, we give you complete access to basically tell us what you want us to say. If you want shout outs at the end of the show, you know, you come at the $5 level, we're going to shout your name out every episode. We're going to
come stay at the house for a weekend. If you
that's $10 an episode.
Yes, that's upper level.
Yeah, come on now. You're not staying at the house for $5.
No, not at all.
I'll put gas in your car for $5.
See, there you go.
No, but you know, you have to give them perks. You have to give them something to even, you know, consider it. People that, I won't say that it's never a good time to start it, because the whole reason for Patreon is so that people have that ability. And if you start loading things from the very first episode into your Patreon, and people then have that full catalog, they can go all the way back to your old stuff, and like they can really geek out. And what I like about Patreon is you can do your little shows or just like random thoughts, like stuff you don't want have out in the general public. Your patrons can only get that, you know. So like that episode, if you're not super happy with it, you're like, you know what, I recorded this, I don't want to delete it because it is something, I just don't know what it is. You throw it in your Patreon, like, hey, I have something in my Patreon. I also have another podcast that I do every week that's all about Star Trek and my journey into learning about Star Trek. and I'm not gonna give that for free. That's only behind Patreon because it's about Star Trek, and I don't know a goddamn thing about Star Trek. And I'm going to piss off somebody.
So you're like mapping your course as you get introduced into Star Trek?
Yeah,
I see.
I went on Twitter months ago going, okay, I want to learn about Star Trek. Where should I start? And everybody's like, oh, you need to start off with Next Generation. And so I was like, every episode I watch, I do a little recording after the episode, and then I put it on Patreon. Like, hey, you want it on Patreon? That's right there.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
What I also do on most of my Patreon stuff is if it's like the pre and post show, and this episode, it'll go on Patreon first, and if you want like early access to it, it'll go on Patreon sometime tomorrow, or maybe even tonight, and then it won't be available to everybody else until Monday. So nobody else is going to listen to any of it until Monday. Only patrons get to listen to it the same day.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. It's like early access, like a perk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and then the pre and post show, like I'll put those out. They're 3 or 4 weeks. It's like you can listen to them for free in 3 or 4 weeks from now. So, but no, I agree. Like there are some times where it is a cart before the horse, and you're like, are you just doing this for money? Is there no love for it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what I was getting at. Like some of these, especially ones that have kind of popped up, recently. They're like, and most of them are true crime, by the way. Just want to throw that out there. But they're like, here, it's like, hey, here's our thing, and you could tell that they're probably just looking at this as like a money maker. And it's like, man, I don't know if that's the right way to look at it, because
it's not like most of the people that are really successful put years into this business, and I know somebody who went, they became financially solvent after 10 years of podcasting. That's not like you're just giving up everything today.
Yeah.
No, you've got to put years and sweat equity into that. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, unless you already have some sort of celebrity or something like that, I mean, it's very difficult just to jump into it. I mean, because I have a great career now. I have a great job, thankfully. So I don't have to, this is a lot of fun for me. It's a hobby. Eventually, if it generated some money for various things, either through Patreon or,
Do you have a Patreon?
No, I don't have anything like that.
Start one, man.
I don't know. See, here's another part of it too. Is that with year 2, I am resolved to do an episode every week, because I decided I am going, because I have skipped some weeks in the first year, for various reasons. But one thing was I didn't have an actual night that I recorded. It was like whenever kind of thing, which is a problem, because because it's like, and what I've noticed is if I do it earlier in the week, I'm more prone to do it. But if I wait, then I'm like, well, I'll do it, tomorrow night, or I'll do it the next night, or I'll do it this weekend. And it just doesn't really happen, because I usually do it after our daughter goes to bed. And a lot of times once the kid goes to bed, you don't really feel like doing anything.
You don't want to record anything. Yeah.
No, you just want to lay on the couch and watch Housewives or something. So so I mean, that happens sometimes too. Plus, obviously, I don't record at home, so I drive down to the office, which it's not that far away. But just stuff like that, like trying to, because I was setting everything up every time too. That was another thing.
Yeah,
and that's kind of a pain in the butt. But now there's like a empty office here that I use, so I leave everything. I take my computer, so all I do is I get here and I just plug into my computer, and I'm ready to go. So that was also yeah. I mean, could you imagine setting up every single time you did an episode, like your microphone and everything?
It's difficult. That's why we do like, hey, we're doing a pre-show to work out all the kinks, because we were like, before every episode prior, it was, all right, we're 10 minutes into the show. And then I'm finding out through the chat, hey, I only hear like half of you, like,
yeah.
What? And then you're like, oh, there's no desktop audio. Oh, there's no sound. Like,
oh yeah.
And you're like, oh man, this is why like 30 minutes. I do 30 minutes of banter, kind of like chit chat and make sure all my audio levels are good, and we had so many technical difficulties. I mean, we're not even a year into our show. I think we hit our year. Our official year is like November. And we are still developing. Like now everything's set. We're not moving anything around, but we're still developing a good working relationship with our technology.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think that's one thing I like about solo episodes is that you don't have to goof around with a bunch of connections with other people and stuff,
Oh yeah.
I could just bring it up through Audacity, and just go with it or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's some stuff I've been thinking about a lot. And that's why I took like this 2 weeks off because, I was like, well, I'll take all these 2 weeks. I'll kind of generate a little, talk about going into year 2.
Yeah.
And kind of think about what I want to be doing and making some changes, nothing crazy, but making some changes. But you do find out, because I think that there's so many podcasts, right? There's like a kabillion podcasts.
Yeah.
But I think people like you, like they like the person, so they want to hear.
That's what you're selling, man. You're not selling the podcast. You're selling you as an individual.
Yeah.
And if you are a shitty person, it's going to pan out. Like people are going to really figure it out that you are a crappy individual and nobody should like you.
But that's why, I've always tried to be supportive on Twitter. And then also when I did that first solo episode, I was like, well, here you go. This is sink or swim right here. Cause we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
And it went really well. I mean, and so I've done a couple of them. So I'm probably going to be a little heavier solo episodes and probably be more picky about guests, I think, because
I think you have to be a little picky on guests.
Yeah.
You've had some amazing guests on your, you had the Amish baby.
Oh yeah. Dags. Yeah. He's cool.
That dude, he's got what, 3 years, 4 years?
It's like,
yeah. He has 7 years or something like,
2013, I think he said.
Yeah. He's put in work, you know what I mean? And to like,
you know how that happened?
How?
I DM'd him and said, would you like to be on my show? And he said, yes.
See, and that scares the shit out of me. Like when I asked your wife, I'm like, hey, I really appreciate you promoting me. That's like super cool. Like, like, do you have a podcast? And you're like, oh no, my husband does. Like, do you think he would want to be on my podcast? Like, is that a thing that he does? And she's like, I don't know. Yeah, maybe, probably. Ask him.
I did. Yeah. I said, hey man, I was like, I like you. I really enjoyed it. They just did an episode. And I said, hey man, I really like the episode. Would you like to be a guest sometime on my show?
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, sure. And I was like, okay. I mean, all I could say was no.
Yeah.
Right. Same thing with Ariel. I mean, we follow each other on Twitter, and I thought she was funny. And so I just cold called, like DM'd her, and I was like, hey, would you like to be a guest on the podcast? And she said, absolutely. Let me know when. I said, okay.
That is so cool, man. Like, and it's nerve-wracking, right? Like,
yeah,
like,
yeah, because the cool thing about her, and I don't know if you listened to that episode or not, but
I haven't. No,
we didn't talk at all before the show. Nothing. We set up a date and a time. Got on there and make sure everything worked. I hit record and just went from there.
That's cool.
And it was a lot of fun. So we've actually done 2. She actually came back.
Yeah, I saw that there was 2 episodes with her.
That was round 2. So, but there again, though, she's the type of person that is easy to talk to.
Yeah.
Because you can just say, hey, Tiger King, and she's like, oh my, and she just kind of goes, just let her go,
Yeah.
but not everybody can do that, because, and so I thought, well, she's a stand-up comedian, she's funny, she seems cool, and this would be a fun guest to have. Plus, it was right after I did that police episode, and I said, hey, there's a lot of dumb shit going on. You want to just like have a drink and just laugh and just be goofy? He's like, yeah, sure. Because we did. She's like, is there anything particular you want to talk about? I was like, anything but what's going on.
You see,
Like,
I think that's a policy I need to have because, like, my trending topics, it is a difficult thing to go into trending topics right now because
yeah,
like I have to, I put in my show notes, hey, I know it's a politically charged environment right now.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk politics. Like,
no,
you want to talk about a policy? We'll talk about a policy. You want to break down a decision made? I don't mind talking about the politics of a decision. I don't mind talking about the politics of a policy or something like that. We're not going to see eye to eye on everything. I understand that, but we're not going to talk about a person. That's something I just can't do. I can't, like, and
people tune out too when you start getting too.
Yeah, I'm not a political podcast. I'm not a political anything. I understand certain policies. I understand, like, look, I'm for Black Lives Matter. A lot of people aren't. I live in an area where you say that people get emotionally charged and think that you're against them, and I just can't. I can't have that kind of environment.
No, it's not worth it, man.
No.
It's like, that's me. I mean, I respect people's opinions. Nobody's going to agree. I do think, unfortunately, we're in this age of extreme opinions, one way or the other, which is dangerous.
Yeah.
And, that police episode I did was one that I did, but it was based on personal experience of me as a cop and dealing with all different kinds of people. And I talked about the training, and I talked about stuff I witnessed and stuff that happened. And so, I didn't feel like it was political. It was it was a more of a personal experience kind of thing of, hey, here's what's going on and here's my experience with it. And you can do with it what you will. I even had someone ask me about as a cop, and I said, oh, here you go. I sent him a link to that episode. I said, here's what I think about it, because I don't really want to talk about it again. Not that I don't want to, but I don't want to keep on and on and on.
It does no good to repeat yourself constantly, and I understand that. Like, I have a lot of cop friends, and I also believe that we need to back the badge. Like, I'm a very much a libertarian. So, and I have libertarian values. I believe in a small government, but I also understand the enforcement of law. And it's a hard line to toe.
Yeah.
There's not enough protections for our law enforcement, but there's also a lot of training that needs to be done.
Oh yeah.
I was security forces. I was the military police. So I understand the type of training that was given, because we still had to go through police academy training in security forces. Now, it's not in depth as civilian police officers, but because we had the UCMJ, if it became the civil law, we call civil police.
Yeah.
That changes things, though. When you go through that academy and you go through all those trainings and stuff like that, and then you learn about the force of use, or the force use equation and all that stuff. And people don't understand the milliseconds that you have to react. It is a difficult thing to do, because you're moving like that. The amount of thought that has to process, it's life or death. And do I think that the George Floyd thing could have been better? Absolutely. Like, but that's beating a dead horse, and things need to change so that way we don't we don't have those same things going on.
Yeah. When people say like a mental health issue with a person or something, they're like, the police don't need to be there. And I said, I agree. I said, but the problem is, one of the problems is in this country, the police are expected to respond to so much crap that doesn't require a police officer.
Yeah.
But then when it goes wrong, people will get mad at the police. Why didn't they handle that better? Well,
what training do they have in social services or something?
You get like a day. You get like a day of that.
Yeah, exactly.
In the police academy, move on to something else. I mean, and the people, talking about like, well, where's the mental health worker? I said, number one, there's no mental health worker that's going to show up at someone's house.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. If someone calls 911 and says, I want to hurt myself, or if a family member calls and says, this person's out of control, a medic is not going to show up. Nobody's going to show up until a cop goes there and says it's safe.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. That's not a police decision. That's just the way it is. Because when I was a cop, we hated those dealing with those people because it's not their fault. People have serious issues, schizophrenia, hearing voices. They're violent. They're doing all kinds of stuff, and you can't deal with them. You can't calm them down. And on top of that, state law says if they're a threat to themselves or others, you have to take them into custody and drive them to a hospital. So now you're trying to arrest this person who's completely out of their mind. And how do you take that? Because that's going to go, right? And so obviously, there's been a lot of, and there's been a lot of times where it went horribly wrong and it shouldn't have. And I agree with that because I was also, when I was a cop in Virginia, I was an instructor at the regional academy. And I always felt the training because have been in the Army, and then I went straight from the Army into police work. So I saw a lot of issues with the training, and what was really repetitive in police training was that almost every scenario ended up in the recruit dying.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are we teaching people here? This doesn't make any sense to me.
You're going to die regardless,
I trained to go to war. We didn't train like that.
Hell no. I mean, we did urban assault. We did,
we did
everything
like
to
that.
Protect you,
I mean, we did CASEVAC drills and stuff like that, but we didn't do stuff like that, you know. But in police academy, it's like, okay, you have a barking dog, go. The recruit walks up and a guy comes out and goes, bang, you're dead, recruit. How come you didn't check the corner of the house? And it's like, well, I don't, it's like, what are we teaching people? You're teaching these cops that everybody is out to kill them.
Yeah.
And then they show these videos, hours of videos of cops getting murdered through a dash cam, right? And it's like, what's somebody supposed to take from that? Someone's like 21 years old trying to be a cop, never really been out in the world, and then they're like, oh my God, this is the reality. Everybody wants to kill me. So it creates this conditioned, heightened sense of danger, which, I mean, it is dangerous, but I don't think it's to that level that it should be.
Well, let me ask you a question. I heard this idea, and I just want to kind of run it by you. All right. Now, that officer that had the George Floyd thing was removed from several departments because of complaints and stuff like that.
I did read, yeah.
Okay. So, what if like an officer was given something to them that's similar to like a doctorate, like a medical degree, where they have a board certified degree that they have to have with them in order for them to perform their operations. And that goes with them from district to department. So if that ever is removed, they're no longer to be an officer. Would that stop people from abusing this type of complaints?
You mean like officers repeated complaints?
Yes. Yeah, because that's what this situation.
Yeah, I mean, each state has their own license to be a police officer.
Yeah.
So like I was a cop in Virginia, and then I had to get my license in Missouri. So all my training and stuff carried over because you need like a certain number of hours or whatever. And so some states are reciprocal, some aren't. Like some states, I would have to retake a police academy. Missouri, I didn't. I did a written exam. But if there was something like that, I mean, it's possible. But here's the thing, though. And here's what happens: is if a police officer screws up bad enough to get fired, another department's going to hire him. Generally,
yeah.
And usually, it's like a smaller department that is either a good place to start or it's like a last stop. And there's a bunch of departments like that. There's a ton of departments like that.
Yeah.
It's just full of guys who have been through multiple departments for various reasons, and then they get hired by these other places. So I mean, it would be, you'd have to have something that was like, this is a bad metaphor, but like a 3-strike rule or something like that. The problem is, like, just like NYPD, I read this study that they said like 90% of the use of force complaints, most of them are the same officers and the repeated offenses.
Yeah.
And that's true. I've seen and worked with guys who are like that all the time. I mean, you get a complaint occasionally, oh, this guy stopped, like I got a complaint one time, someone said I was rude, which I wasn't, but they were trying to argue their way out of something, and I just wasn't having it, But I mean, so that could, the hard thing is there's no easy answer because there's no national standard for a police officer. Every city's different, every town's different, every county's different. Even neighboring cities like Bakersfield Police Department and whatever cities next to it, probably are going to be different because
just like we have county and police, and they're 100% different. You know, and that's the other question is like, okay, so if they can't come up with a plan like that, then how come we can't go with, instead of police department, going with like a local sheriff where we hold somebody accountable? Because as you know, sheriffs are voted in, police chiefs are not.
And see, that's a big difference with sheriff's offices, is that a sheriff is an elected position, and they have a lot of power. So like back home, we had the city police department. In the county, there was a guy who became sheriff who hired like a bunch of his family and friends and stuff, and they were all a bunch of flunkies. Like, they were all terrible. And they actually got the FBI actually seized control, and the state police seized control of that because they had a guy who was found in the driveway he'd been shot in the head with a shotgun. The state police investigator got there, and they were cleaning the driveway with a water hose.
What?
The sheriff's deputy was, and so the guy from the state police, who's the homicide investigator, flipped out and made a big stink about it. And these guys weren't trained. They had guys right out of the academy. They would give them a car and say, go. Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah. Just nuts, man. Like, but that stuff goes on. I mean, and so, I in a lot of ways, I think that, police get blamed for stuff that they shouldn't. And then there's a lot of times where it's warranted, because I've seen some pretty shitty police officers, and I've worked with people who have no business being a cop, like zero business, for various reasons, either negligence, laziness, too aggressive,
I heard one of my PD friends, and he was telling me, he's like, a rookie has a badge that's this big when he gets started.
Oh yeah.
And then as he gets older into the plan, it gets smaller. Eventually it will be the size that he's actually wearing.
It's true. They're called blue flamers. Like, these people are just like so. And that's another issue too, is a lot of police departments are statistics driven. And so they'll say, well, you need to go write 10 tickets tonight. And so then you get all these like stupid traffic stops, for dumb stuff. And it just creates a bunch of dumb stuff where it shouldn't. I mean, I think there's a lot of issues there. I mean, certainly the race issue is a factor in some places, not all. But it's also, if you work somewhere where you deal with a certain race of people all the time,
yeah,
and not just black, but like if you like, it's like in Virginia. I mean, I dealt with mostly black people because it was like 65% African American there. Here in Missouri, it's like less than 1%. So I dealt with all white people here, but I dealt with white people who were like on meth, people who were violent, people who were in gangs, people who were doing drugs and stuff.
yeah,
And, you know, so if something happens where you shoot somebody, chances are it's going to be someone from that group that you deal with all the time, demographically speaking.
yeah.
And so
I understand that, but is there another way to do it, like non-lethal? Is there a good, successful non-lethal way to prevent more officer assisted shootings?
I think it's really situation dependent. I mean,
yeah,
not all police shootings are created equal. They're all different. All of them are different.
Yeah.
And the George Floyd incident is different because it wasn't a shooting. So it's not this like bang bang split second situation, right? It's much much different than some of the others that we've seen, where it's like, you know what, like I've watched that video several times and I talked about it in that episode, and I can't figure out what he was doing with his knee on him like that.
That officer.
Yeah, Derek Chauvin. I couldn't figure it out because I tried to keep looking at it from a.
It doesn't make any sense. So I watched the whole 8 minute, I think it was 8 minutes, whatever video. And it's just like, you know, it doesn't make sense. And the rookie, I guess they're going to no longer charge him for first degree manslaughter now, because he did ask the officer, hey, should we still be doing this? And as a rookie, you know, like he knew it was wrong. Like, you know, so.
Yeah, I couldn't figure that out because I kept looking at it. I looked at it, you know, from a police perspective, like from a training. I'm like, what? I don't know. I don't understand what you're doing there. I mean, I've certainly have fought people to arrest them and stuff like that. And then when you get them on their stomach like that and they're cuffed, if they're cool, then it's over. You set them up on their butt.
Yeah. Once detained, you're not. Yeah, the use of force is supposed to be neutralized. Your job is to de-escalate the situation. One of the things, like, you know, when we were doing the tech school, we had to watch the Rodney King video, the full Rodney King video, not the chopped version. And in the Rodney King video, you see that he's going after the officers. You see why. Okay, but then he gets up and then he goes after the officers, and you see this and you're like, okay, now it makes sense why he was doing why the officers were doing what they were doing. You don't see that when you see the news broadcast. You don't see, you know, there are always going to be two sides of the story, and I understand that aspect of it, but there's no two sides of this story when it comes to George Floyd. There's dude should have got him up. Like, he was detained. You know, like,
I can't figure that out. Even if he was, you know, it really boggles the mind. Like when Chauvin has his knee on him, he's just kind of sitting there, kind of looking around. It's like, what is he doing? And one thing that I talked about was I don't know if he was intentionally trying to kill him. I just don't think he cared.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and this was, you know, what I can't remember. We talked about it in previous episode. I think it was like his 7th complaint for racial.
It's just dumb, man. You know, but you know, there's no easy answer, really.
No.
I mean, I do think that starting conversations, you know, talking about that kind of stuff, and discussing it, you know, I'm not, and I've said this on Twitter and I've said this in my episode. I'm not on the abolish the police train.
No.
I'm cool with reform and I'm cool with making improvements so it's better for everybody.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm in the same boat. I think that there has to be an education program. You know, we used to have to watch this video where they showed you it was what, the 18th? No, I can't remember. There's an amendment that the U.S. Supreme Court said you have to look at this clip. This is the clip you watch, and that determines whether or not they're at fault or not. And, they're like, so was the officer wrong or right? And you can't tell. Like, they have to watch like a 5-second clip. You know what video I'm talking about.
Yeah. And
so like that's what you're taught. Like, can you get away with it in this clip? Like, and
yeah.
I mean, that's not the premise of what they're trying to teach, but they're trying to say this is the decision you have, and that's all you get. Like, we have some officers in Fresno. They shot an autistic kid. And in the body cam, it shows like a good shooting, but every other bit of the information shows that that autistic kid was literally just playing with his dinosaur. Like,
oh yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
But
the media, man, the media is the worst because
it makes everything way worse than it needs to be.
And everybody reacts to a headline now. Like, there's no nuance.
Yeah.
There's no substance. People, especially with social media, everything is a little blurb driven, and people just take that and run with it, which is sad, but it's just,
this is where I get all my news on Twitter, so I'm good.
I always like to look, I like to look and see what's trending occasionally, because most of that stuff I have no idea what it is.
I was so like my whole idea with this show is like, I wanted to make sure I talk about LGBT news, because there isn't a lot of LGBT news. And as a parent, I want to make sure that I can do my part to inform people who aren't LGBT and understand, like, hey, there are things going out right now that are affecting the LGBT community. Like, we're a few episodes ago, the new administration was putting out a new rule about how to identify trans people so that they can be able to kick them out of homeless camps and shit like that. And it's like, why? Like, why are we doing more to segregate our people? Like, it doesn't make any sense. All of this doesn't make any sense. We have this is where I don't like to get political, but we have policies in place, and we have an individual that is saying things that is so politically charged against everybody, and that it's only making certain people happy, and it doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, this is the president for the people, before the people.
Those kinds of things are just boggling to me. I mean, I'm not as close to it as you are, obviously. LGBTQ, but
just throw all the initials out there.
Yeah. I wasn't trying to be offensive. I just couldn't.
Yeah, no, I understand. There's a lot. There's a lot of it.
But I mean, I'm not as close to it as you are, but I'm like, it's just crazy that, the way certain policies are created to alienate certain people and things like that. And I just feel like those things now in 2020 shouldn't even be up for debate.
No,
like, those things shouldn't be issues.
We just got notification. So he is rolling back insurance plans, so that they no longer protect LGBT members, or specifically the T members. So all transgendered are no longer going to have the protections that they had with insurance.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make any sense. Like, they're not doing anything. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Like, why go after a certain group? Because it doesn't make any sense. He got elected because of the LGBT community came together after his statement because of Caitlyn Jenner. He said, I'll let Caitlyn Jenner use any bathroom in my Trump Towers. That was a statement he used. So he uses a statement like that, and then at the same breath says, we're no longer allowing trans in the military. We're no longer allowing trans on insurance, and we're making sure they're removed from our homeless shelters. And that right there is like, you're a president for the people, man. Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't, man. I'm with you. That's a lot of stuff. I'll read some of it sometimes.
And then he puts out statements like, white people get shot all the time. white people get shot. Like, yeah, no, we get that, dude, but you understand what's going on. Like,
yeah,
you can't be blind. You can't be blind and run our country.
no, I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of the stuff's pretty dangerous. Like these groups and stuff out there that are getting violent. I mean, that stuff's kind of just wacky to me. But he stokes the fire, man, for these people.
He does,
which is sad and it's dumb. And somebody tweeted today. I don't remember who it was now. I think it was like an author or something that was like, if you'd have told me that a president had done half of these things, I would expect him already to be perp walked out of the White House by now. But somehow this is allowed to continue for various reasons. Just the other day in North Carolina, he's like, go try to vote twice.
Yeah, go vote twice.
It's like, well, he's encouraging voter fraud.
He talked about that prior to the 2016 election. It's like, oh, people are voting twice in California. But then he tells people in North Carolina, oh, come on, man.
Oh, I know.
That's the kind of stuff, like, you can't, like, he contradicts himself so often that I don't understand how people, like, I know he may be reelected. I understand that. It's extremely difficult to remove a sitting office from being reelected.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance we're going to have another 4 years of this dude. And knowing that, and knowing the actions that he's taking, I can't imagine what 4 more years of this would look like. This COVID, this is a mess. We had some of the highest growth in COVID related cases out of all of the countries combined. That's insanity. We're talking about, like, we want to stay away from everybody. Like, wear the mask, stay 6 feet away. We're doing our part.
Mm-hmm.
You have a little baby, you're doing your part.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the same time, why do I have to wear a mask? Man, just wear it. Like, what?
Yeah, I know.
What's the inconvenience on you? Like, oh, I can't breathe. Man, don't even give me that shit. There's people with asthma that are wearing masks.
No, it doesn't make any sense. I think one thing was it became a political symbol. If you wear a mask, or not, and then just people just I think one thing is, it's like, well, wearing a mask benefits other people, and that's where they went wrong, because unfortunately there's a lot of people who don't want to benefit other people, especially if it's politically motivated. Like he had that rally in Tulsa. Tulsa is only like 80 miles from here. And it was like a big thing. Everybody's there not wearing masks, and they're celebrating the fact they're not wearing masks and stuff. But those people went back to where they came from, and then cases started spiking.
That there was a TikTok of this lady being asked, "Hey, are you not afraid of going to church? Because of COVID?" And she goes, "I have the blood of Jesus. I have the blood of Jesus." And then that whole church got COVID. Like the whole church is like, doing simple things, like, just be smart. Like, we're not saying, like, I would never tell anybody, hey, put your faith away. That's not what I'm asking people to do or anything like that.
No, of course not.
Have your faith. There are a lot of sermons online now. A lot of ministries are doing amazing things. They're still being able to provide worship, but they're doing it online.
Mm-hmm.
If your church isn't doing that, it should. Like,
hey, my niece, for some reason, is getting married in like 2 weeks.
Oh wow!
Back in Virginia, and I was like, I ain't going. We ain't going.
Yeah,
I'm not, because number one, obviously we have a kid. Number two, my wife has a
autoimmune disease.
Yeah. So we've been super strict about it with her. Like we haven't been around people. Nothing, like us three, and then my wife's parents. That's it.
Yeah.
My wife's office, she's had it closed to the public since March. She's done everything over the phone, stuff like that. Yeah, I told my parents, they're like, "You coming out here?" I'm like, I'm like, no, man. I was like, I ain't coming out there. I was like, number one, I'm not flying. Number two, it's like a 16-hour drive. So I would have to either drive all the way through or get a hotel, which I don't want to stay at a hotel because there's a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, it's just not worth it. I said, sorry. And I talked to my niece. I mean, she's 22, 23. And she was like, hey, I know it's bad time, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, I can't. It's not worth it.
Yeah, you can't. At what point do you put life at the jeopardy for pleasure? And that's, I mean, there's certain things like I don't want to go to people's weddings or anything like that. I don't want to. Backyard barbecues are like the number one cause of the spread.
I know. I know. People were like, "Oh, we just wanted to have a few friends over."
Yeah. Okay.
We finally,
have all COVID now.
I had a buddy of mine who wanted to come over. I told him to get him a COVID test and let me know. I didn't hear anything back from him. But then again, because we have a covered patio, and we'll sit out there and hang out. And of course, he and I haven't hung out since probably December. And he was like, man, you want to hang out and drink some beers? I was like, have you been COVID tested? Because I know they haven't been staying home or anything.
Yeah.
He's like, no. I said, well, go get one. It's free. And if it's negative, come over. We'll sit on the patio. And he didn't. Even Ben, my buddy Ben, that we would jam at his house every Friday night. And the last time we did it was at the end of March, and we haven't done it since because of COVID.
Yeah, I mean, you have to look out for your family, man. Family is the only thing that matters,
Oh yeah.
It's just not worth putting the risk. It's just not right now. And like we went to the zoo, and we took every precaution. We brought our own linens. We took every precaution that we possibly could. Like hand sanitizer. Everybody had their own bottle. Like it just you have to be able to get that little bit of release out there.
Yeah, you do.
But watching people, man, their snot nose and not wearing masks, and it was like,
yeah. It's funny to me. These places have these signs up there, like, for your safety, we've been cleaning. I'm like, well, shouldn't you be doing that already? Why are you just doing that shit now?
Is this new to you?
Yeah, like restaurants are like, we be cleaning our dining rooms every night. I'm like, aren't you supposed to be doing that already?
That should be like a common occurrence.
It's like, washing your hands. You should be doing that already.
Yeah.
Because that'll also help you not catch other stuff too.
Yeah.
Not just COVID, by the way.
No, I literally seen this at a local market. It's like they say, do not wear a mask. Don't wear a mask. If you're wearing a mask, we're not going to let you in. That was a real thing. And then, like, I had to ask him, like, hey, what's the deal, man? Like, well, how do we know you're not robbers? All right, okay.
That's so silly.
You want to identify me? And they're like, well, people need to build up immunity to this. I'm like, to what, man? Like, well, people build up immunity to flu shots. This is not the same. Like, people are going, oh, this is the same. It is not even close. Like, you can't inject yourself with this to build up some type of immunity to it.
No.
People that get injected with this, even like the FDA just came up with a new trial that they're doing, or it just approved a new trial that's going on, and they were going to inject the medicine. Let's just go that way. And to see if they can be able to prevent this and stuff like that. And they're having really good results. But if they inject somebody with COVID who hadn't had COVID, they're most likely never able to recover from it, is what they were saying. And it's crazy.
It is crazy because it attacks your upper and lower respiratory system, which most things either one or the other, not both. And people are like, well, people, get the flu. I was like, people, think about how, a couple hundred years ago, people would die of the common cold because a virus doesn't want to kill you. It wants you to live so it can live.
Yeah.
but it takes years and years and years and years for it to get less severe. And that's why people used to die from colds. Now people don't really do that anymore. You catch a cold, you kind of weather it out and it's gone.
Yeah.
But I said, I'm like, something new like this is going to be deadly, and it's going, because the virus is going to evolve as it goes. And it also, people have lost limbs, people have like nerve damage, people,
Oh yeah. Well, they just came out with
all kinds of stuff.
A new report saying that it doesn't just affect your respiratory system, it actually affects your cardiovascular system, your whole cardiovascular system. It actually is a coagulant, which a lot of people don't understand. Like, coagulates are the same thing that happens when a snake bites you. It causes your blood to thicken, which is why your heart can't pump it, which is why it causes the respiratory issues. So now they're going, oh wow, this is way worse for people. Like, for instance, my wife, I'm asymptomatic as well because I had a heart attack. I take blood thinners and all that stuff because I have to, but this has a potential of causing total heart failure because of all this, and my wife just absolutely will not let me go outside anymore.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you, man. Like, that's how it is with my wife. I mean, she takes immunosuppressants, and so we've just been really, really strict about it because it's not worth it. Because it's like the one time you feel like, hey, you know what? We've been doing this whole time. Let's go out to eat or something.
Yeah.
Then that's the one time that we're probably going to catch them.
They didn't catch. They didn't wash the table that time.
It's one time that they coughed on your food twice, so just once.
Yeah, exactly.
It goes, but yeah, no, I don't know, man. It's a weird time. I just, it's crazy. But all in all, though, I've saved a bunch of gas money. That's one good thing.
You know what? I have too, man. Tires haven't need no rotations. Everything's good, man.
Yeah.
Brakes are still working.
And plus this my job currently, I started this job on March 23rd. And so I went to the office, and of course nobody was there. But it was like two people there, my boss and then my boss's boss.
Yeah.
And I got my laptop and got all my stuff set up, and then been working from home ever since. So, it hasn't been too bad. I mean, but pretty much what I do, I can do anywhere. So that's not a super big deal. But
that's good, man.
Yeah.
No more trying to protect yourself from bullets anymore, huh?
That's true. Yeah. I got out of police work in 2015, and I got a job with the help desk at a company. I didn't know anything about IT stuff. Completely just didn't know.
Yeah.
And then got they offered me a position as a programmer. And so I got into programming, and then where I work now, that's what I do. I do programming. So
that's cool. So how did you get into programming?
They asked me if I wanted to be a programmer, and I said okay. And I said, well, I was working in the help desk, and it was like me and like three 21-year-old guys, and I was just trying to learn as much as I could and figure it out. And then I worked in the help desk for 2 years, and one of the staff VP people was like, hey, I need to talk to you. I said, okay. So I go in his office, and he says, you want to do something different? You want to get out of the help desk? I said, yeah, sure. Because it didn't pay very well either.
Yeah.
It was, he's like, well, we have a position as a programmer, and I said, okay. And he goes, what do you think? And I said, okay. I said, I don't know how to program. I said, I never, because I didn't know if he thought I had experience with that prior, And he goes, no, it's all right. We can teach you kind of how to do it. It's not a big deal. And I said, okay, because it's in COBOL. I don't know if you know much about programming, but
no, I don't.
So I was like, okay. So yeah, they gave me a textbook and like about 4 weeks of going through the book, and then I just started doing programs, and then I screwed up so much stuff like early, like God just jack shit up left and right. But you always make a backup, though. That's the golden rule. You always make a backup of whatever you're doing. And so I just learned it by doing it, and then that company kind of was, it was like, well, I'm gonna see what else is out there, and I got an interview with this company I'm with now, and so it's also programming. It's a different language. It's IBM RPG, so it's a different programming language. But typically with programming, if you have some programming experience,
you can kind of jump around a little bit.
You can kind of learn, because it all works on logic. So
yeah,
it's it's not anything super drastic, but yeah. So
that's
I got
good,
hired
man.
with them. Thankfully, because I got hired I went to this new company, and then the very next week, like the old company laid off like 90% of everybody.
Oh shit!
So I dodged a big old bullet with that one.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. So so it's good. I mean, I enjoy it. It's nothing that I thought I would ever be doing. I can tell you that, but it's a good job, and it's good. It's like I said, for this, it's nice because I can do it at home. And generally, I would be working home 3 days a week anyway under normal circumstances. So it's not like a super drastic kind of thing. So
yeah, sweet, man. Well, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
No, man, this was a lot of fun. I appreciate you hanging out, man. We'll have to do this again sometime.
Absolutely. Maybe I'll hop on your show.
You will. Yeah, that's another thing I was going to talk to you about, because I was going to do, when I do have guests, I kind of would like to do more podcasters.
Okay.
Because number one, podcasters usually have like a setup and the audio is good, which is because sometimes you try to
helpful.
Yeah, because I've done a couple guest stuff like with them on the phone, and it just doesn't, sometimes it doesn't sound as good and stuff like that. So we definitely set something up.
When are you thinking? Like, how soon out?
It would probably be toward the end of September, maybe early October, honestly.
Okay.
Because I have a couple shows.
And you do them on weekends too, right?
No, Monday nights is when
Monday nights.
record.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, there's some flexibility there. But Monday night is the main night that I want to do it. But there would be some flexibility. Generally, I shoot for either Mondays or Wednesdays, typically. But I can do, generally, I can do pretty much any night after the kiddo goes to bed. That's my general rule.
That's a good rule to have.
But I was trying to stick to it. Going into year 2, I was trying to stick to a day, to aim for a day.
Yeah.
But if I was going to have a guest and they couldn't do like a Monday night or something, I could always work out something.
Yeah, that's the same thing I have going on with this Saturday. It's like I'm going to have talking shits on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I really don't like to have back to back. But I have a show on Thursday. That is my show day. So I'm like, okay, I don't do anything on Thursday except my show. And I had already had you scheduled, and I had talking shit scheduled prior to the heart attack. And so I was like, well, I don't know what to do, guys. What do you guys want to do? They're like, no, we'll reschedule for another day. I'm like, cool, thanks, man. So this is my catch up.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, but no, yeah, that's one thing I want to do is, like I said, probably have.
So you're looking at the 21st, 28th, or
let me see.
We have Columbus Day on. Well, Columbus Day isn't a real holiday anymore, is it?
We don't celebrate Columbus Day anymore.
Yeah.
Canceled.
Yeah. We got cancel culture. The 5th.
What about like October the 5th?
Yeah, that works. I can lock it in. What about the same time?
Yeah.
Okay.
9 o'clock normal people time.
9 o'clock. No.
Are you okay?
I've been putting that on there for you.
I thought you would like that when I said that.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to put that out there and see what he says. The weirdest one is mountain time, right? That should not even be a thing. They just need to get rid of that.
What is that, an hour?
Yeah, that's an hour, 1 hour from you, I think, right? Because Pacific, Mountain, Central, Eastern.
Yeah.
I'm like, mountain time. Mountain time should just go away with mountain time.
Okay. I got time zone. Yeah. I put mountain time just for you.
Mountain. It's like nobody cares about mountain time. Get out of here.
All right. I have it locked in.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Cool.
Yeah. Maybe I'll do a live show. and have you on there.
However you want to do it, man. Like, how long is your show normally?
I don't know, like an hour.
Oh, okay, that's not bad. Yeah, we've been talking for 3.5 hours, so we're good.
It's because we're so good.
Yeah,
we're getting the Patreon people, some bang for their buck, man.
You're not lying. They're gonna, Patreon people are gonna have something to listen to.
You have to raise your rate on this one. This will be it. Yeah, we'll do it, man. Definitely.
Right. Sounds like a plan,
really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And then you're gonna send me
I'll send you a logo.
PNG or bitmap.
Yeah, PNG should be PNG, okay. I believe. Is that okay?
Yeah, that works.
Okay, yeah, I'll send you one, and where you can slap it up there.
Okay.
So
sounds like a plan.
Cool. All right, man. I appreciate it. Had fun.
Absolutely, man. I'll send you a link with the Google Drive for the audio.
Okay. I need to start using Google Drive more. That's so convenient.
It's so easy. It's free.
We'll put that on the year 2 list.
There you go.
Google Drive. Yeah.
I use Google Drive and Google Calendars. Lock everything in place.
I actually use a calendar. That's also something I'm starting to do because I didn't do that before. And I would have people message me, hey, you want to do? I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, I got like 4 shows this week, Yeah.
Yeah, I got to put it on the calendar. I put it on the joint calendar so both my wife and I can see it. So she goes, oh, do I have anything going on this week? Oh, we have a show with this guy. Oh, okay. Do I need to listen to their podcast? I'm like, nah, you don't have to listen to them. I got
it. Yeah. I mean, definitely, you got to keep up with it,
Yeah. Because you have to at least, I listen to everything like 1.5 speed. So I could be able to, capture a couple different episodes and be able to listen and go, okay, this is what they're about. Otherwise you get lost, man. You're like, so your show is about dinosaurs, right? Like, no, we hate dinosaurs. Oh shit.
I will mention I've had like 2 or 3 that have asked me to be on their show, and I listened, and I was like, I don't want to be on their show.
Yeah, I feel you on that one.
One in particular where this guy is very offensive, like not in a funny way.
Oh, really?
He's asked me like 4 times, and I was like, yeah, man, I don't really think so.
Yeah, our energy just doesn't jive together.
It really doesn't. Like it was very, very odd, I think he's one of those guys who like just likes to piss off people or try to.
Oh, it's one of those.
But it just comes off as like rude and annoying.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I like to have a conversation. Like if you can have a conversation about anything, I love having conversations. Like even if we don't see the same side of the coin,
yeah,
you could be straight up anti-LGBT. You could be, pro, like, white lives matter. If we can have a good conversation, I will converse with you. Yeah. But if you're going to be like, you're wrong, you're a dick, and this and that, there's no point. There's no point in having a conversation. I want to have a conversation with somebody who's going to have an intelligent conversation. Somebody that's going to teach me about why they think the Klan is a great thing, and and explain.
I mean, at least try to be informative. But
yeah,
yeah. I mean, at the very least. But no, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like that's the thing. You can be picky though. That's the good thing about it.
Yeah. I don't mind having like debates. Like I'm cool with that. I did mock trials in high school, college, and all that stuff. I really enjoyed debate. It was a lot of fun.
It's fun, and I think it's a lost art now. Like
it is,
like having like a conversation where 2 people disagree, where it doesn't devolve into just like yelling and name calling.
If you can take emotions out of debate, you get further.
Oh yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, man. We're definitely I got you scheduled on the 5th. We're gonna hop on your show, and then I'll pop open a beer on that one.
All right, man. Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, man.
Right. Later.
Okay. All right. That's wrong. And that was Fat, Drunk, and Stupid. Thank you guys for all coming. We had a lot of fun. And thanks for all the new followers. Thank you, Jimmy Stagger. Thank you, Link Master J, and Fat Drunk and Stupid for the follow. Appreciate you guys. And I really enjoyed it. Talk to you guys later. Bye.